last time, you know. But...
You gotta start small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, well, we're live.
Woo!
Are they not talking?
No, they're all muted. I think they're just waiting for who knows. Alright.
I just hope them talking doesn't.
How do you make a Moscow Mule?
You put a shot of vodka. Eyeball a shot of vodka, and then eyeball ginger beer. I don't know. It's just like 4 ounces of ginger beer.
For one shot?
Yeah. So it's like a 1 to 4.
Do like
You're ready to go.
A
Live
lot more
stream
than a
up
shot.
on YouTube.
Why did you think that was?
Miss Tony, when
I don't really measure liquor out.
Drunk?
yeah. Bring your camera back.
What?
There we go. And we are live recording all sorts of
What?
I feel like a little nervous,
I'd
like
like to
you're in
welcome
class and I
everybody
can
to
hear you.
the 2020
I
edition
wish.
of Southside Mayoral Forum. This is
I feel
a
like-
forum that has been put together the past 3 years now.
Here, can I just use the
Bring
same
mayoral
ginger beer?
candidates
Yeah,
to
we're gonna
the
do a
South
little
Side
more.
to talk to questions
And then you put in
from
lime
the
juice,
residents
but
of the South Side.
obviously.
This year is different than it was last year when I did it. There are not as many candidates, but it's also just a very, very different environment. So I want to
Different now.
take a moment just to thank
I know,
every
I'm
single one of you
Okay.
for taking the leap of faith
Oh,
to
look.
run for
Oh.
mayor in these conditions. I mean, I think that you should all be applauded for your dedication.
There's no liquid on the
It's
laptop.
not better, it's stupid.
Liquid on the mic, baby.
All the hardships that everybody around the world and even in the country and in the city gets. So you all should be.
Ryan, the problem child.
But I'd like to thank all of the neighborhood associations in the South Side that we reached out to that helped the sponsors, the business.
All right, hey guys, this is the 2020 Richmond's mayoral candidates South Side Forum thing.
Before we started, we'll go over the basic rules and kind of how the format
Yeah.
goes into that alternative.
Take it away from here, Whit.
Set everything up, Mr. Robert Jones.
Should we just squeeze some lemon in my cup?
And again, I thank the candidates for being with us tonight, and I thank audience members as well.
Alright, I tweeted it out. You can
Candidates will be
hear
given an opportunity to make a
both of our
opening
audios, so
statement
it's good.
not to exceed
Yeah.
5 minutes. The closing statement not to exceed 3 minutes.
Emotional motions. So are you telling me that people can hear that?
Is determined by
You guys like Phoebe Bridgers?
closing statements.
Hey, you guys listen to Phoebe Bridgers?
Of the draw. Questions will be posed to all candidates, no individual questions.
It's a little dry.
Answers to the questions are
It's a little
limited
dry.
to 2
Oh,
minutes.
that'd be a new one.
Candidates
Ryan
receive the
poured
question,
himself like 3 shots.
I love making drinks with Ryan.
I go, so you put like a 1 shot to like 4 ounces of ginger beer.
I do that shit too.
Why?
But Ian's going for the Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I'm doing Dugarita. Tiny
Update,
Dugarita.
we're making Mountain Dugaritas
Mountain Dugarita.
while watching it. If you guys can think of any fun mayoral drinking games we could play, hit us up in the chat. Is there a chat?
Yeah, let us know. There is a chat, but we can't see it.
Can we? Yeah. How can we get in it?
Oh, I can cut it up.
So those will be the opening statements.
I think-
Ryan put his third with the chopstick in it.
You post.
It fuzz.
That's what the shit was about.
See, like how?
We gotta be careful with this mic too.
Yes, true. Well, how much alcohol is that? Is that a shot?
3.
More than a shot.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, I was gonna say 2 or 3.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It wasn't for the sacrifice of people like my grandmother and my father.
He's frozen. We froze the mayor.
My grandmother and there was this guy.
Dad?
No, he was only he like lived in my house.
He gave birth to me.
He gave birth to me.
The eyes of my grandmother and the eyes of my father. And I got right to work from day one, working towards equity in the city, particularly around public education. When I ran 4 years ago, I said I would be an education mayor, and I got right to work.
I like that the middle guy has a
the south side and 2 in the east end, centered around black and brown communities.
Griffin looks like a lawyer. Is he a lawyer?
He must be, dude. There's no way he isn't with that office.
That's true.
He does though.
The
He looks
dark
like a TV
mom,
lawyer.
baby.
Yeah.
Like the girl on the right who's like so low in her camera.
In a generation, roughly $30 million in new monies into Richmond Public Schools. And at 57 cents on every dollar we receive in real estate taxes now goes to Richmond Public Schools. That is a growth prize because every time we grow, so will Richmond Public Schools budget. Moving forward, I want to be the mayor that provides free universal pre-K to each 3-year-old and 4-year-old. Why? Because 59% of our children arrive on the first day of kindergarten, they arrive unprepared to learn. And that is where the gap begins for particularly a lot of our black and brown children, a lot of our children who are living in our most remote communities. But we also know that our children also need a place where they can have a high quality of life in a safe environment as well. And that's what housing comes to play. I'm proud that we more than tripled the affordable housing.
What bombing? I wish it would be like the one screen and it would like find out like who's talking, you know?
Beat that goal beginning of 2020. Moving forward though, I would say as well, I'm proud that we also institute the eviction diversion program.
So can we use the webcam?
Knows to us.
What is the deal?
Or is it not even worth trying?
We can try it, but it's gonna show the like while we're messing with it, it's gonna show whatever we're doing. So it's not gonna show them. But like that's true. For like a couple minutes, like I also
Maybe you
not
gotta
really
get
sure.
in like one drink and then be webcam ready.
Yeah.
And that means that we have to do our best to ensure that this city keeps its culture,
I
its
didn't realize
richness
that
it's
Mountain
had for
Dew was
many,
like
many years.
so green
And
in
that's why
itself.
I want to up black home ownership in this city.
I don't even taste the Mountain Dew in this.
I'm making a
Minus
TikTok.
30%.
Fuck, no, not anymore.
While white
Phone.
I want to be the
Jail
champion
phone.
to ensure that more
It's
black
the
and brown
new
people
one.
have access to home ownership. Also, I gotta be the mayor focused on public safety, public health, and the well-being of these citizens. A lot of times, folks forget the number one issue in this city right now is the
It's like a TikTok, right?
She's just talking to someone else.
Cameron says you can barely hear audio on live stream.
in our communities.
Shut
From
down.
us?
We were
Or
the first to ask for a mask mandate. We were the first to ban mass gatherings.
I don't
We
know,
were
I'm
one of the first to actually begin testing in our most vulnerable communities.
Damn, how do we?
Working on time contact tracing and also providing
Look at the
rooms,
little
hotel rooms for those who need the
it
most
has
to
those little
quarantine.
trail of bubbles.
I will always be data driven.
Can you like
This will not be a gut
turn the
decision.
volume up on that thing?
Every
Yeah, for
decision
sure.
I make on COVID-19
We really have to make sure we watch this mic cord, cause like
Also,
I can just see myself tripping over it.
Yeah.
After like 2 drinks.
I think we should also maybe like all sit closer to the microphone.
Okay.
I think that would be like
Free
a
front and center.
yeah.
I'll just get cozy.
what I want to do is reimagine public safety.
Hello.
Doing
Both
that
is too
with,
quiet.
institutions that work on towards
Hello.
strengthening our chokehold policy.
Wow, I feel like I barely even heard that through the speakers.
Hi, Cam.
And we have a task force to reimagine public safety as well. 40 individuals, 40 citizens throughout
Oh.
our community.
I heard me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stakes are
It didn't sound that bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
stable, experienced
But can you hear?
to get the job done after this.
They're quiet, but like I don't know how.
I think it's them. Yeah.
This, my campaign, will speak to that each and every day.
Yeah. How do we get their
Every-
audio?
Each and every neighbor who lives in this country. Thank you.
So they're coming through the speakers.
Is that it?
I think so. I mean, their screen. It's screen
Next
recording
on the
their
list
audio
will be
from.
Is there a way, a place to mix that in the app?
Thank you, Whit. Thank you, Rob Lee, and thank you everyone who's tuning in. My name is Alexis Rogers. I'm like the mayor. My pronouns are she and her.
Go
And
on.
I want to tell you a little bit about my background,
Wow,
why
you
I
can actually
decided to
hear her.
enter.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just
they'll
the
hear
volume.
me.
Yeah.
I grew up in Hanover County, just north of here.
Hanover
with
County.
Incredibly hardworking parents who I'm sure are watching right now, and an older brother who was hardworking but also hard-headed. And I loved, playing sports with him every day, playing basketball, running track.
Do I need to call the
football
cops?
down there as well. My family always instilled in me the values of
Is the
working
white guy
hard,
or the middle?
saving,
There's 2 white guys
doing
on
the
the
best
top,
you
but
could to take care
the
of
skeleton
your
man
needs
is he running?
I don't think so.
The Skeleton
And
Man?
those are values
But
I've carried
I'm
with
not
me
Oh, the
sure.
top
every single
Bobby?
day.
Yeah.
You
I
all
don't know.
probably remember the Great Recession, 2007, 2008.
Forgot.
My father
Forgot
lost
all
his
about
job,
the Great Recession.
and he didn't have a college degree. I was actually the first of my college of my family to graduate. But he had worked up the corporate ladder at Circuit City and was able to provide security and health insurance to my family because of the hard work that he put in at that day job. And for so many families,
What's Kim
like
Gray
mine
drinking?
at the time, the rug was really pulled from underneath
A
us.
Dugarita?
Suddenly, that hard work that
Yo,
we
you got a
put in,
Dugarita?
the
She
hard
got
work
one
that we
early.
saved,
Hey,
the
Red
time
Lobsters and we
and
couldn't have
patience
any.
that we
Yeah.
put to make ends meet, that was all robbed from us. And I think right now in the city, we're seeing many families facing that same thing. That security.
Is there a
that we
drinking
built
game we
out
can
suddenly
get out of this
was
somehow?
robbed from us.
I know, that's
And
what
for
I'm
too many
wondering.
families
Like,
here in
drink
the city
every time.
and really across Virginia,
If
folks have
Mark
not been
Study
able to
does
break that
this.
cycle of poverty because barriers
He
have
would
been
be
put in
drunk.
place.
He looks so grumpy.
He
Yeah.
looks so mad.
We have communities that have been redlined, where black and brown communities have been trapped in the cycle of poverty.
He's also
have
blinking
been
a lot.
trapped in schools that are underfunded,
And like he's like scratching
communities
himself.
that
He was
are
like
surrounded
scratching
by
his
concrete
ear.
instead of
Are you
trees. And we
nervous?
don't
Looking around.
have enough leaders in our current administration who are taking bold action to address these systemic challenges. I'm running for mayor because I'm used to working in coalitions and building teams to advance policies for our most vulnerable populations.
Is his
At
name
Planned
Robley?
Parenthood, I was a part of the team that helped us expand access to Medicaid.
Her
for
last name?
400,000
No, the white
hardworking
guy on
Virginians.
top. Is his
We
name
also
Robley or
help
Robley?
open health
How do you say
and
it?
in Richmond that's providing
The
primary
white guy on
healthcare
top?
for thousands of folks
Bobby.
who previously
I
were
swear to
struggling
God it
to
said
live in the
Bobby.
city just to get access to a provider.
I swear.
Here at the National Domestic Workers Alliance currently,
Oh no,
I'm
dude. Drink every time
advocating for
his name
policies
isn't
that
Bobby.
uplift many
We'll see what
experiences
his name. I don't know what his name is.
who every day are caring for our families and our loved ones and keeping us all safe. Historically, this important work
Drink every time
with
someone on
overwhelmingly
there
women of color
drinks.
have been
Yeah,
excluded
that's
from
actually a
basic
good one.
labor
Keep up with Kim
protections,
Gray.
whether that be
Yeah.
wage protections or workers' compensation, the right to organize, paid family leave. These are all basic protections that every person should enjoy, and that's why I'm fighting for that workforce. This year we passed historic wage protections for domestic workers because of my leadership and working with strong partners in the General Assembly.
Alexis
including
Rogers is
my
the
good friend
cutest.
Jennifer McClellan.
Is she
I'm
talking
excited
right
to be
now?
running for mayor
Yeah.
because we
Yeah,
need
I like
that kind
her.
of bold team builder to make the progress we need in the city. And I'm
I'm gonna make
grateful
myself sound
that we'll
stupid
have
to a fan.
voices along the
Ooh.
way.
Fans.
To
Hopefully
Cameron.
we'll build policy that
Cam,
will
I know.
That means taking bold actions to reform policing, to make everyone safe, to put law enforcement officers in a safe position, and to keep us safe. We know that over-policing has ended in black and brown folks being disproportionately put into our justice system, and unfortunately during a time of coronavirus, sometimes that looks like closer to a death sentence than it should be. We need a leader that's going to fight for affordable housing and take bold actions, working with our city council to rezone parts of our city, to open up more affordable housing units, to invest in boldly, to invest in our
pure
land trust
cane
funds, to
sugar.
create permanent
Bet you
affordable
didn't
housing.
know that.
And yes, we need a mayor who will boldly bring transportation
What
to
is-
the city. And that's
The
why I
Mountain Dew?
propose a department
I was like, I was about to say what?
mobility and accessibility.
You know the Mountain Dews that do have like pure sugar though?
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Those
Like
ones
the
are
Cokes?
different.
Yeah, they have a different label. It's like an old guy on like a mountain. Yeah, he's on a mountain.
Oh, I didn't know. Like, what does Mountain Dew taste like? It's like Spritey?
Green.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
gotta
it's
wait.
not
Very much.
Sprite.
Not
It's
there
like
yet.
margarita mix, honestly. Like it's lemon lime, but it's
Thank
not
you,
like in a Sprite like
Whit and
refreshing
Rory,
way.
again,
It's
for,
like-
organizing this.
It's like acid.
Good
It's
evening,
like battery acid.
Southside. I'm Kim Gray, and
It's
I'm
like-
pleased to be your
I
next
don't know.
speaker.
It's like a
Because
slushy, but
Richmond
just a
needs
drink.
real leadership, and
Ooh, she said you're
especially
not a real
during
leader.
this
He's about to
COVID-
cry.
Look
COVID
at his
There are many unknowns about our future. We need someone with experience who can lead us during difficult times.
Wait, did you see top? Wait, were you looking at top right?
Yeah, I was.
I'm looking at Whit.
I kind of love Top Right.
Yeah, she was like smiling, and then she was like,
12 years.
She's like rolled her eyes. Like,
I'm also running to
I
end
like just like
experience.
she seems to like chill about it.
Approaching our city government. I will be a mayor who will be upfront, honest with the people, and will always put Richmond first.
Look at Sony, he opened his mouth.
Just a little bit about
It's
myself.
not your
I'm
turn.
from Richmond, but more importantly, I'm for Richmond. I'm my heart.
Look at him looking around, dude. He's so like.
Richmond the best.
Yeah, what's going on with them?
Yeah. Like what is he doing?
He has like two people sitting like here. Do you hear this?
He looks like a hostage. He's like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why
okay.
he's blinking so much.
To social services, to healthcare.
They said blink twice. He said yes.
Okay.
Policy person. I've worked in the General Assembly.
Dude, he's mad.
and
He's so
I've
upset.
decided to put those skills to work improving our city schools when I ran for the school board.
What is-
It's so weird because I'm like he
Now,
knows like there's like a
so
general
2 terms.
dislike for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like he seems so like caught off guard.
City
Yeah, I
council
mean, I think he's just, like,
representative in
super-
the center of our city.
Also, like
That's
even
just
fake.
if
which is
there
a very
wasn't like
diverse,
this is what these
um,
kinds of things go like. They say you
Yeah.
don't want the
that
same.
represents,
Yeah.
I think
Like you
a
should expect
microcosm of the
criticism.
greater city, and
Did
They're
we
running
see
against
that?
you.
represents
Yes.
the
He looks like he
second
squatted
city.
something. Why is he moving?
There
Looks
have
like
to be
he's
other people
sped
in
up.
there.
Can we zoom in on his
Background
face?
Yeah.
and
Oh my god.
and regardless of people's material conditions, I've learned that
Can we zoom in?
everyone wants the same thing.
can't,
we,
like,
we all want
physically
a
zoom
better
in on
What
that.
about on like the
for our
whole
young
like
people
it's
and our
not full
children.
screen?
We all want a better life. We want safety when we're coming and going throughout the city.
Oh wait,
in our
on the
homes.
Zoom itself,
We
can
want
you like
to have the ability
pin
to earn
him?
a living to
No, it's
support
not
and
giving me like
to
any
be
normal
able to
zoom
move up
options.
in the world.
I can raise
and,
my hand. Let me.
Too many
My hand
times
is
our
up.
city has fallen short. I've
My hand is
heard
up.
Our mayor talk
Yeah, I don't know. I
about
guess
Probably
zoom in on this.
distracting her.
education. These past couple of months, I've been spending quite a bit of time working to get students the technology they need to connect to their classrooms, and sadly, there are still several hundreds of students out there who still are not connected to their learning environments in Richmond Public Schools. We have a whole generation of children who may
I gotta
lose
wait
a
for a
year
good
or more of their
face.
education. I think it's a critical time.
This is just
With
disappointed.
these remarkable
Disappointed dad face.
investments
Yeah.
that have been approved by the city council and sent to the schools, there's been a lack
Wait,
of
where did that go?
accountability on how those dollars are being spent. We're not seeing better results as a result of sending these historic amounts of investments, and I think that accountability is key.
Investments in what?
Taking ownership and being the
How's there
adult in the room
nobody?
and making
I
sure
think
that
she meant like general
money and dollars are
investment,
being
like
spent
in the
in a way that
cause.
we're getting results for our children.
In the
It is
city?
a critical
I don't know.
time in our city.
I'm gonna try
it is
something.
a critical time in our nation, and
Damn it! I wonder if there's a way that you can like make it
Support
track on a
and,
specific
I
like
will
app and stay on that
end
app.
it there. I think
Mhm.
less is more sometimes when you're given 5 minutes.
Media source?
Oh, I feel like she
Yeah.
ended with she said more time than when
Next
you're just
on
given
the list
5
for opening
minutes.
statements is Mr. Griffin.
No, media source is like videos that you have on your desktop.
Oh.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to the Neighborhood Association.
So our neighbors
and
are looking
everyone
for-
that has tuned in.
Oh,
Like you just heard, my name is Justice Griffin, and I think the first and most important thing you need to know about me is that I am not a politician. I am somebody who's just like
Look at
you,
Tracy.
who is fed
route,
up
like what
with
is?
this
Yeah,
man
what?
and misplaced priorities.
Also, like, a lawyer is a politician.
I've
Yeah.
It's
Like,
all the
literally.
same. Yeah.
It's fucking law.
It's like everybody's a lawyer before they run for office.
Yeah.
best way to explain
Like you're not a politician until you become the mayor, and then you're a
Yeah.
politician. Like what?
And then the girl on the top right agrees
So
with
first,
us. I
we
saw her.
deserve
Mhm.
better leadership during times of crisis. Over the last 4 months, our people have suffered while our leadership has been too weak
Or people.
to stop the destruction of our city.
Okay, so he's on some Law and Order shit.
Of our people and our business owners. For example, I talked to a young woman who had over $5,000 worth of damage done to her home. I talked to
Who
a
is she?
man who stayed up
Yeah.
all night with a gun
Just a young
and
woman.
feared for the safety of his pregnant wife. I talked to a business owner
Someone
who
was
That
scared.
sounds like a
slept in for
fucking
17 nights straight.
psych. Like,
Yeah.
he was gonna. He said, and he was about to kill.
You know, as
He was
another
about to
business
kill
owner, I
people.
talked to the
we're just supposed to like assume that that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you like know where he lives? 'Cause,
I know,
like,
I'm
I don't
like-
wanna.
Yeah, because I'm like, was he hearing like what we heard in the Nancy Ann? I feel like we were close to like all the action.
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't like
and then whenever
scared like a little bitch.
did he go? I know we saw on our porch, we saw the people leaving. They'd go, "Hey, be safe," and we go, "Okay, be safe."
While he's hiding
They're
inside
coming
with his
into
gun.
like, who's coming after your wife?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
Like no one wants your wife.
They don't want your wife, dude. They don't want your baby. Nobody cares.
No, I know, and it's also like there were no like personal attacks.
Yeah.
Like no one was coming after people.
Yeah.
It's
property.
The city wouldn't provide
Mhm.
a restitution, and he doesn't have.
I like the fish that Kim Gray has, though. I gotta say, I do like that she has a little, or like a shark or whatever that is.
Where? Oh, behind her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As I've been out talking to people, I've talked to people who suffered with broken water meters for 8 months, to get a trash can. It took me 6 months to get a trash can personally.
Dude, it did take us really long. Do you remember that in
When he's
East
Marshall?
Marshall? It took us so long to get a trash can.
But here it took us like 2 days.
Yeah.
Like it just appeared.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why the other day I had to go talk to Maddie's neighbor for her about how he was using her trash
Oh,
can.
you had to do that for her?
I did. Yeah, I did, and it was so
Oh my
brutal.
god. What was that even? Why?
She was nervous about it. And I was
Yeah.
like, we can do it.
Nice. That's so nice.
Yeah, it is so nice.
But it was so. He was like, I've been using this trash can for 2 months. I was like, yeah, but the thing is, we called the city. And they gave us the trash can number, and it is the number on the side of your trash can. And he was like, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. I've been using it for 2 months. I was like, yeah, so sorry. But I do think it is our trash can. And I was like, you could probably call them, and then they'll figure out where yours is. And then he'd be like, well, where is mine? And I'd be like, don't know about that.
Ugh.
That sucks.
I know. And he's like, they're like a grown adult neighbors. They're not like kid neighbors. So it's like,
Are they the ones to the right when you walk
yeah, when
out?
you're like looking at it. Yeah, like the like fun dad or whatever.
Oh, I've seen them outside before.
I've seen outside too.
No,
When I
one
left,
time I came to.
one time I was like,
He was hitting a
right as I was
jewel.
leaving, he was all like, that's so funny.
He's so funny. I mean, one time me and Maddie were sitting on the roof and he threw us a fig. And he was like, here's a fig from my tree. I said, thank you very much. But then one time I came to bring Allie something, and I was in the car, and he was coming out to my car with a bag of figs, and he goes, are you here for the exchange? And I was like, no. But like what?
Yeah, like,
What's
can I
the
get it?
exchange for the figs?
At
Like,
least he has figs to offer.
I know.
figs.
Went,
I'll take figs.
I know.
I just got a message that the live stream on YouTube isn't working, and
Yo, we're the only stream that works.
Woo! Y'all fucking
Y'all
suck.
fucking suck.
We're the government now.
Looking at it right
Dude, Kim
now,
Gray's trying to disrupt the debate.
Seems to be okay. There's about a 20-second lag if they're talking to somebody that's watching it on Zoom right now.
maybe that's why.
Dumbass.
Alright, do y'all care if Ben
So
comes
I think
over?
that, yeah,
Ben
sometimes,
Taylor?
as we all do,
No, I would love
if Ben
sometimes
came
it's gonna
over.
be- it's gonna be on our end, sometimes it's gonna
614 South.
somebody else's end, so, and actually,
Haven't seen
I was,
Ben since we moved
one
out.
thing I forgot to
I
mention,
saw him in Kroger
if
like a week
any of
ago.
the candidates drops out,
With Fran.
for some reason or has technical problems, we're gonna pause for about
They were
15
waiting
to
for
30
the donuts
seconds
to
to let
like
you
go
get
on
back
sale
in.
or something.
If it takes longer than that, we're gonna move on to the next candidate. However,
Yeah,
we're
they
gonna
do
give you
that.
that time back
Mhm.
when you can
Like
get
right
back
before
on.
they
So
go bad.
I know.
this day and age,
She's so
technology
cute.
problems happen all the time.
She always
so
makes me
we'll
feel
make
so
sure
good when you see her. She's like, hello, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hi.
Thanks
So
very much.
positive.
I know, I
and
love it.
for the last opening statement, we will have Ms. McLean.
Hello, how are you? I just want to say first, is Mr. Griffin finished saying what he had to say because he was cut off and I don't want to go ahead of what he has to finish saying.
That was awkward.
Mr. Griffin, did you miss part of it? I thought we heard it all, but
This guy is like so annoying. He keeps wording everything like, I think no.
I'll
But,
get those things done in the forum tonight.
He's not as cool as his bikes. That's just what it comes down to.
No, are those real bikes or are they
Thank you.
mini? I've been trying to figure out the whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell the like proportions
Mm-hmm.
of this room.
I'm a Richmond native.
Or
I
the
am
perspective.
running for mayor because it's a dire need of change. I attended Richmond
Oh, I think
public
it's her
schools
internet
myself,
or something.
and I haven't seen much progress or in change. A lot of the things that have been mentioned tonight has always been happening.
See, his name's Robley.
And we need to actually
It's
be
not
a part
Bobby.
of the system. We need
I
to
wanna
actually
call him
go into
Bobby.
the school
Yeah, I mean it's a real name.
and to make change. We have to know exactly what the problem is. I am running because I am the voice of the people.
Her mouth
I
just doesn't match up.
am the
Yeah.
voice that
She's a populist.
when all of the residents that I
I kind
spoke
of
with
fuck with like
I like
she has
her.
like a populist camera angle, you know.
talk to me, they talk to me
Oh, no.
basically
What
about
do you mean?
She
having
says
someone
below
in
my
that's
shoulders
not
are the
ambitious,
people.
someone that's not looking to further
Like it's like she didn't like overthink about
career,
where the
having
camera
someone
is.
in
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
not
No,
Like,
she
man,
does
just
feel
turned
like
on all
very
the time.
genuine.
Yeah.
and not deceitful.
She's just there
And
to
so
talk.
with that being said,
It's true.
Like Stony,
feel that-
Stony's the polar
I
opposite.
feel that I am
Yes.
doing a good job.
Days until what does that thing say?
I
Days
am-
until election.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Trying to,
I wonder if
I don't
that's
know.
That's
his
some
name.
hostage shit right there.
I just want to make sure that y'all
We'll let you out in this
I would
in
like
many
to
days.
implement
That's when
what I
I'm
call,
free.
the
Can you imagine
initiative.
if
Understanding
he
that
like
I am just
loses
an
and
ordinary
like
person
running
just
into
like
him
you.
in like the
I would like
grocery
to
store?
initiate
Dude. That would be crazy. I'd love that
to
kind of.
initiate the Dream
I don't know
Initiative,
what I would say though.
which is equal education
If
for
I'd say
all,
anything.
I
economize
don't
and
think I would
rebuild
say
the police.
anything.
And
I think I
police
would be like, is that? And I'd be like,
is that I
"Hmm."
want
Yeah.
would be by putting back in
I don't.
the
I feel like I'd say
second
something. I
responders,
feel like I
putting
think
back
about like
in
running
social
into like
workers
certain
and
politicians.
counselors.
And
I do
what I'd say
too.
a lot.
Having a
Your one-
division
your one
where
shot
it's
to
a
make,
mental
like,
health
one
division
point to
and
them.
a substance
What would you say
Yeah.
to Stony?
So
I've
when
thought
it's
about
time
running
when
to
the
Trump
police
like
get called
multiple
in,
times.
that
Mhm.
And then I'm like,
They
I
can
don't like, what would I do?
actually,
Yeah, like you got
be
like
able to
30
go out
seconds
to
with
the-
Trump.
to the
I always
doors
think
and
about
to
punching
the-
him.
the call
That's what I've always
necessary
thought. Though,
for-
like, but I'd just be like, but then
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Oh,
I
dude.
bet everybody does that.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
It's true.
reparation to
I don't know
offer,
what I could say that would be like
total
meaningful.
Yeah, like, but would I like be like,
Mhm.
think about
to the
people
black
you're
and brown
affecting.
families.
Yeah,
Like, you
it's
know,
not
you
gonna-
understand.
Yeah,
It's
like-
gonna be like,
population.
you know
Build
what?
a landlord and
Wow, I have done some wrong.
Yeah.
That's not gonna. I feel like especially
We need to
him.
stop
He's like so
putting
bulletproof from.
band-aids on
Yeah, like,
reality.
it
We
doesn't
actually
make
need to
sense.
sew it up and
No.
get this straight.
I wish we could hear her.
I
I would
know.
like to have a cohesive community where we can actually talk to one another and understand what's going on.
Where does
trying
Kim Gray
to-
like look? Like what is she looking at? She's like on her phone or something.
Filter through all the hate. The truth is, this year,
Oh.
this election,
Hi, Stoney.
this election calls
Oh,
for
bitch.
someone who actually cares and wants to speak for the people. This election will take up the mayor for the first 3 years of the mayor in an office. We'll have to deal with the remnants of the COVID. So with that being said, it's very important that you pick a mayor that has that in mind.
What's
Pick a
your
mayor that will work good with
I
the
don't know.
city council also. Pick a mayor
Tracy
who
McLean.
looks to do things that you have spoke about,
Rob
not what
Williams.
they just decide to do.
I wish I had more control.
I am
Mhm.
more
wish that- I
information
really
about
wish there was
me.
a chat.
I just want to let you know that
Yeah, me
I'm a
too.
mother of 10 children. I'm a minister's daughter.
I'm gonna see if there's
I'm
the
a-
chat on the YouTube.
Oh yeah. You
I
can
am-
tune into the YouTube
I
and
am
just
a
like.
daughter of one of the
say
Richmond
shit.
34. I am
Wow.
What's
a
Richmond
true face of
34?
I
Richmond.
don't know, but like she's a daughter of them.
I'm gonna look it
I
up.
am not scared to go in any neighborhood and speak to anyone to solve the problem that is needed. I am.
Honestly, she's made the best case.
And
No,
I should be the
I
next mayor
like
of
her.
Richmond.
I really liked what Alexis was saying.
Yeah, she's good too.
Oh, it says the Richmond 34
Thank you very
refers to
much,
the group
Dennis.
of Virginia Union
Okay,
University
so we're
students
gonna
who
move into the
participated
question
in a
section of this now.
nonviolent
So all these
sit-in lunch
questions
at the
have
counter of
been
the
compiled and
Alzheimer's
condensed from
Department, Soaring
questions that
Downtown
we received in
Virginia.
from
Mm.
folks that live in the south side. And what we've done is if we edited them down just a little bit so we get the point of the question, but you know sometimes
It was
you have
just-
duplicate
it was, like,
questions come
part
up,
of,
so this is kind of
like
an
a major event
amalgamation
in the
of
civil
the
rights
questions
movement
that come
in the 60s.
and a representative
Gotcha.
sample. So what we will do is we will start in alphabetical order.
we can
so
just
that
hear
will go
us.
with Councilperson Gray, Mr.
You
Griffin,
can't hear them really.
Ms. Lane, Ms. Rogers.
Damn, what do we do about that?
So is all the audio coming through the mic? Because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I think it is.
Rotation
Can we-
order.
Well, 'cause
First, we'll start with
even
first
that
question.
audio is coming through the
Second question,
speakers,
we'll start
right?
with Mr. Griffin,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
forth.
Can we just?
So if you have a question about where you're on order,
I
please
don't
don't
know,
hesitate to ask for a pause on it, because normally when we're all sitting at a table, it's a lot easier to figure out where you're going, who just went, who's going next. So with that, first question to start off with Councilperson Gray is going to be, what is the most important issue facing the city, and what will you do about it if elected?
Audio.
So I think,
Back to this shit. I don't know which one it
in
is.
proper context, right now we are going through, multiple, layers of crisis with,
No?
the
Yeah, no,
COVID-19
that's- yeah.
pandemic.
It's weird because it's like
and,
it's not the microphone.
economic
Like the Scarlet Solo is
implications
the
of
microphone.
COVID-19, compounded by the civil unrest. I represent the center of our city where we're seeing.
It's like showing the
most
levels, you
of
know?
the
Yeah.
looting
Is there a way to
and
mix it
violence.
there?
We had a-
I mean,
we
it
had
says it's already
buildings
at the
on
top,
fire
but let
last
me
night.
see.
And I think that that
That's what I
the
was just saying about-
lawlessness and the feelings of insecurity throughout the city. I was in Gilpin Court last week, just before 100 rounds rang out in that community, and I think the
Is that
safety and
us?
security of our
I don't know.
citizens
I'm
is
just
of
gonna turn
utmost
them both up.
importance. I also think that
Mike
Um,
Ox is.
Wait,
Making
turn
sure
one
that
of them
every
up, and I'll
student
listen and
has
see what
technology. They have the
Turn
the Chromebooks
Audio
and
input
the
capture should be
access
the-
to the internet
your
that
microphone.
they need to get.
I don't
their
know what Mike
education.
Ox is
I
really.
think that is a
Turn it.
long-term crisis that needs our immediate attention. Every day that a student isn't connected with
Oh, I
their
could hear
school is
Okay.
But maybe it's just
potentially
because we weren't
months or
saying.
years that we are losing in their
I
life.
can only hear them when we're not talking, because it's just.
I think that the layers of
Wait, which one did you turn up?
COVID-19 crisis incrementally
The.
are compounding a lot of our challenges.
Why do we sound like robots?
I think,
Because it's like boosted.
Very much.
I have the mic really boosted because we're like sitting far away.
Yes, thank you. So,
I love our like shitty ass audio in all our streams.
race first started.
Fuck, where was I?
I would have told you that the number one issues were
I
definitely
think it's
schools,
feedbacking.
roads, and city services, and those are absolutely still
Oh,
very
okay, this is where
important
it was.
top issues in the city. But if we're going to be able to actually have a conversation.
Oh yeah, so I turned it up in audio input capture, which is the mic.
Those pressing issues in our
So you
city,
turned up.
we have to first
Okay, so
address
display
bringing back,
capture. Isn't that what we need to turn up?
peace
Display
and
capture?
order
Yeah.
to the city,
Don't we need to turn up
restoring
display capture?
confidence in the safety.
Yeah, but I think all the
of city,
audio is
living
running
in the
through
city,
the
business in the city,
speakers.
visiting.
Can we turn it up on
listening,
there?
and I'm hearing that
Yeah.
every day as I'm out
But then it might
talking to
feedback.
people in business
Because we don't
owners,
actually want it
people
to
making
pick this mic
plans
to pick up
for the
the
week.
that because then it'll
Counselor
feedback.
going to
Right.
market, business
I think
owners
the
saying,
display capture is just showing the like the video. I don't think it has any audio
Oh,
kind of thing.
because it's just audio input capture and
Now that
mic
they're
slash
telling me
aux.
that,
I don't really know what
unrest
mic
is
slash
still,
aux is though.
to open and
So that
customers to come in has been even more harmful than the impacts of COVID. And so that is our number one priority. We have to restore peace so that we can get back to addressing.
I don't know, what should we do?
Because, what we're seeing in the city is that it's causing a downward spiral.
let's just keep going.
As we don't have the
That'd be
peace
fun.
that we
Fuck.
used to have, we're seeing people obviously like I
Do we
said,
have any viewers?
people leaving.
Yeah, so it's
causing
like,
tax revenue
what's
to
the
leave.
difference?
That's
Yeah.
what prevent us from
Um,
investing into our schools and our neighborhoods. So let's get back on track, let's get the economy and our businesses
on the
going again, so that
He'll
we
be
can
here-
start addressing the
he'll be
real
here soon. He'll be here in
important
like
root
10 minutes.
cause issues
Woo!
in our city, schools, infrastructure,
We'll ride a
and
crazy
city
bike over.
Oh, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Perfect. Mr. Clay.
Hello?
I'm voting for you.
Sorry, my computer is running like lagging behind, so please forgive me. Well, I feel that the first thing that we need need to do is definitely deal with the crime that is happening in the city right now. A lot of people are expressing fear of going out of their homes. So I think that we need to really act on that as soon as possible.
Is crime really
And
bad right now?
also,
Yeah, I didn't
try
know.
to
Like, that would make
get
sense
everyone
because the
that
economy is like
not working
shit
back
and
to
people aren't
work.
working.
Ever since the protest stuff, I
And
feel like there's
in
been
a
so
way
many. I mean,
that,
there have been like,
will be
maybe there
beneficial
have been
to
more
the
shootings,
small
but I've
businesses.
definitely
So
seen like a
possibly
lot more
doing,
like shootings
a
like in the
small
news.
Yeah, on those Instagram pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
to businesses
yeah.
to
And
get
I'm not
them
sure how much of that is
where
like
there
legitimate
might
like
not be a
increases.
large cost,
And if
Or,
it's
to the
because then I'll
businesses,
also
so
see
we
shit
can
from
give
police on Nextdoor. Like we're
a
on
little bit of
track to
money,
have like one of the
going
like
in the city.
least
And
crime
also,
years
Mhm.
in.
and
You know what I mean?
also
So like,
Are you on Nextdoor for this address?
no,
from
I don't want Nextdoor to know where I actually live now.
knowing that T-Mobile is now offering
I kind of love
services,
Nextdoor.
internet
I love to
services
read
to
it.
families.
It's like being in like a Facebook mom group chat.
Oh my god,
would
Nextdoor,
sit
like
down,
where my parents live, is so.
force that would
weird.
actually go to
It is so
each
annoying.
individual
Dude.
school and see
You gotta look up this dude that lived next to me.
what
Actually, I
he
saw
is
you
not,
were saying some shit to him in
as
some
you say,
comments
making
one
a
time.
cut.
And he lived like 3
Make sure
doors
they
down
have
from
the
me.
right
Was it
About the horse poop
Oh,
from
yes,
the police
dude.
source cops.
in
Yes.
classes because they're home.
that
I was like, oh
So
shit, that's
you
you.
know, helping the parent understand the classes.
I haven't been on
and the
Nextdoor in so
schoolwork
long, but I used to really love going on there and like arguing.
so that
That's
also
I'm about to
have,
just start arguing with people and
education,
delete it.
working
Yeah.
as if you were in school.
Get banned.
I love the one East Marshall next door because there was that one
And
lady
Mr.
who would
Professor,
always like post
the
about her
question
dog
to
and
the candidates
stuff.
right now is, what is the most
Great.
important issue facing the city, and what will you do about it if elected? Next up, Ms. Frye.
Alexis!
Thank you so much. We certainly are in an economic and public health crisis, but the issue that's before us
Lydia,
is
do you
that
have your like pronouns and your name
we
on
have
Zoom?
still deep
I do.
divides along
I don't
race and
have
class lines.
My
in
one
the city.
teacher sent like
And
a
that has to be
like
the
an email on
number
how to
one
like do
issue
it.
that
So
we
then I was like, okay.
tackle
Yeah, I haven't changed
head
any
on,
of that shit.
working
Maybe I should.
collaboratively with city council and community leaders.
You have to like go
Because
to like
the
the
public
Zoom
health
website or
emergency
something like
hits
that.
outside
I don't
harder
remember how I did
than
it,
other
but
parts
I
of the
can
city. You know
look up
why?
in the email.
Because Hispanic and Latino communities who weren't even getting adequate and consistent communication in their preferred language were left behind. Immigrant and communities that were not trusting of government were getting left behind, and we've seen the numbers. We know that Black and brown communities are dying at disproportionate rates compared to their white neighbors. So we need a leader that's
Stoney
going to
nodded
look at
his head.
every single agency within our department and within our government to advance racial equity. And that means fixing the permit process so that small minority-owned businesses aren't wrestling with City Hall trying to extend a sidewalk for their patio or trying to establish their business. Because you know what? A lot of those business owners are going to pick up and move to Henrico if they can. They're not going to spend all their time and resources fighting with City Hall to get it done. And you know what? It means investing proactively in expanding access to green space and tree canopies,
Tapping
not
that
just
shit.
when voting's about to start.
Beautiful.
And that's why I'm running for mayor. I look
Method.
forward to
Yeah,
tracking
how to do
racial
it.
equity.
You got it down. That's
Come a long way.
best roles.
Very much, Ms. Frye.
We have. And do you remember that day that we like?
Well, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
The
That
number
was so
one
funny.
problem
funny.
facing the city of Richmond and should be our top priority is keeping COVID-19 at bay. It has illuminated a number of inequities in our community. But let's just begin with the fact that we can't get the economy that we had prior to March without keeping COVID-19 at bay. We can't put our kids back in school until we get COVID-19 under control. We can't get the sort of services to our people until we get COVID-19 taken care of. Now, this administration over the course of the last few months has made that our number one priority, and that's why we have put more money behind eviction diversion so people can stay in their homes. $14.5 million in eviction diversion, rental assistance, mortgage relief. Well, we've done everything we can to box the virus in. More testing in our most vulnerable communities, Black and brown communities in Southside and in the East End. We've done everything to house those who cannot quarantine on their own. We've done contact tracing so we can track down this virus so it's going to harm another individual. If we don't do the things to keep this virus at bay, then we cannot get back to where we were. Here's the thing: we don't want to go back to where we were. We got to go back to a place that's even bolder, that focuses on actually healing this city after this pandemic. The pandemic has put a mirror in front of our faces, and it has asked us, do we like to
What is that? I think it's like a piece of paper he's holding up. It's happened a couple times. But like, what is he holding it in front of his webcam on purpose?
We have a number of wars.
I wonder what he's doing behind it.
So this is about transforming and ensuring that we meet people where they are and they get the best to survive this pandemic. If they can't survive this pandemic, we can't get back to the things we must do: better economy, better housing, better education for all of our children.
There's Tony. All right, so moving on to question 2, we will start with Mr. Griffin. And question 2 is, if elected, what legislation or policies would you propose to promote racial equity?
But I don't think it does anything.
So the biggest thing that we can do
Right? Because it's just connected to the
bridge the
speakers.
gap and the inequalities that still exist in our city is fixing the school system.
Forgot. I was doing
Right
that
now,
earlier.
we
I was like,
failing
wait, fuck.
school system.
Keep
The
forgetting
last
about this
4
drink.
years, the graduation rate has dropped.
Dude,
from
my drink is
8%
like,
to 70%.
it doesn't look like I've drank that much.
That's a crisis.
Like a
That's
drink.
30% of your young
Probably
people
didn't.
in
I mean, I
the
keep
school
putting
system.
Mountain Dew in it,
86%
but, like,
of people of color
Also,
that are not graduating high school. In our modern economy,
it's not
you're
right.
not getting any kind of trades training while you're in school, then you have a very slim chance of ever thriving economically in our society. So that has to be something that we finally tackle. It can't just be.
He's
a
gonna
talking
completely
point.
change
Put
American
people first.
society.
We have
Yeah.
to completely change the culture in our school system, like the story I said at the beginning, where we
How
have
many
such low
viewers? God damn it.
expectations for our kids that we don't even
Viewer.
get homework.
Such a good idea.
This is a great
We gotta
idea.
put literacy first. We gotta give more teacher autonomy. We have to have high expectations
Teacher
for our
autonomy.
We have to create an environment that has a
Give them
holistic
legs
education
and
that
arms.
teaches our kids how to thrive and succeed economically. We have to have options for trades training if they're not going to go to college. We have to plug them into robust mentorship programs and connecting them to business internships to give them opportunities that they may not have. The education system is where we can really change things, and we can finally do things like break the cycle of poverty and shrink the racial wealth gap. But until we have a mayor that actually puts the schools first, then that's never going to happen.
Weren't you
So
the dudes that were just saying
we need to
put
do
the
it, and
police
how we're
first?
going to do it, and
Yeah, like what?
it'll.
What are you
have
gonna
results.
put first? What's your top priority?
What's his name?
Ms. McLean.
Griffin.
Griffin.
Andrew Griffin. Justin Griffin.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Certainly. If elected, what legislation or policies would you propose to promote racial equity?
Well, I often
Yeah, Wade is kind of like a
I'm
dick.
pinged as the person that speaks a lot about
Racial equity.
reparation.
I don't know, dude. There's just something about his attitude.
And so reparation, I feel that
The
it's
way
very
he said
needed
certainly.
for our city. The reason why I
Like,
state that
oh,
it's
man.
needed
I'm
for
gonna
our
play a Dwapkin song on the street.
city
Yay.
is
That's you.
because that will be one thing that will actually filter out
Come
everything
inside.
else. Am I going in and out? I'm so going in and out. I'm sorry. That would filter through everything else. So what I would say, reparation, not reparation as far as money. A lot of people think that when you say reparation, you're thinking dollars. And what I'm thinking is programs. We have to make everyone in the city have equity to have two parties. And until it happens,
Opposition, so the pill take block and sniffing. Used to had no pot to pissing. Had no pot to pissing. Still.
receive
Stop.
life insurance tax, life insurance credit, health insurance, homeowner funding, so that they could easily buy a home. Also, credit understanding classes, financial, everything as far as for the parents and kids, so that we can offer true equity in the city of Richmond. Without that, true equity, without reparations, our city will still be going around like a hamster in a wheel.
Equity.
It's fine.
Thank you. You know, racial equity is something that we have to bring into, again, every
This is the kitchen
department
slash
within
living
city
room.
government.
Ben,
And so for me, when I think about
What's
racial
up?
equity, I'm thinking about our tax abatement program and how
Yeah.
that impacts the ability for
You don't want
black
to do
families to
burrito?
retain and keep wealth in the family or not. I'm thinking about the fact that
Oh, yeah, we're
with some
streaming
city
right now.
government
Yeah, we're
services
live.
currently,
Oh,
But
if
there's
you don't
no
speak English,
Yeah,
we have to invest in language justice throughout our system.
stream.
Whether that's voter
I'm sure about
registration, a
this.
permitting office, public
Like
health
two.
communications,
Yeah.
further
It was like
bringing
last
it.
week.
I also got to think about the fact that for so many Richmonders on Southside, you don't have access to a grocery store within your own
This is
community.
it. This is
And
what
as
we're
mayor,
doing.
you've got to take
Welcome.
up the charge to create the
Yeah, we just
conditions
bought
that
liquor.
will ensure that we have a grocery
And-
store and
and
food
Mountain
food
Dew.
justice within
Yeah.
your
Oh,
community.
so that's what
That's
I'm
racial
Yeah,
equity.
that's what it do.
And
Yeah,
so,
apparently
I
there's
support
like a
Black
Red
Lives
Lobster
Matter. I'm
exclusive
leading
for
campaigns
Mountain Dew
calling for
margaritas.
meaningful reforms when it comes to
But they don't have it.
addressing police violence.
Yeah,
in
I
the
just saw it on
community, keeping
Instagram
our law
earlier, and we
enforcement
like wanted
officers
it, and then
creating
I called
greater
Red Lobster,
oversight
and they were
public
like, "We don't
trust
carry
in our
that
law
yet."
enforcement.
So
That's
I'm
really
just going
what
to
It's
the
a
DIY.
link to their like
Yeah.
a Coke
But
product.
we've got to be bringing
line, right?
this
Is that-
perspective
Yeah,
to
they have to
every
switch their
single
product.
agency and department within
Yeah.
city government. You've got to be hiring in a way that is equitable, that includes
up with
diverse
you?
perspectives
Not much.
and
I was just
backgrounds.
looking.
And I'm glad that we banned the
What
box
do you
in the
work?
city of Richmond.
Park
But
service.
still, for too
So
many
I'm,
Richmonders to apply
working
for a
for,
job
like,
that have a
operations
criminal
branch, which
record,
is, like,
that have disclosed that criminal
mowing
record,
and
they're
traffic
still getting blocked
primarily.
ultimately
For
from
Richmond
a
Park.
position that
for
they're
the
otherwise
James River
qualified
Park, so
for.
like Belle
We gotta
Isle,
stop
nice.
that. I look forward to
like
partnering
that
with
little
you
one like
to get
walking
that.
bridge
Mm-hmm.
park area, and then a bunch of other small parks.
There's some-
It's pretty fun.
Well, you know what, I'm very proud
I
of
can
our
sit
work
speak
in
back
building
if
on
you
this.
want.
That's
If you
what
want a real chair.
my administration
Are you
focused
still
on
in school?
building equity in our
That
community.
sounds good.
Yeah, I took this
I'm also
semester
proud
off
of
too.
the fact
Yeah.
that I'm the mayor
Not,
who made the
like,
bold
worth it.
decision to remove
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
What happened?
The stream. The
Unplug
Oxford
the aux.
Fallout. Yeah, the setup we have is a little.
It's-
had opportunity.
Turn down the volume on the mic. Plug it back in, but turn down the volume on the mic knob.
Like the monitor volume.
Yeah, the one above the flashing light. No. The tiny. Your finger was touching and turn it up just as much as you can until it starts feedbacking.
I'm proud of the after-school programs we provide at all our elementary
LeVar
schools.
Stoney's mic has also just been quieter than everyone else's this whole time too.
Go to our schools.
I saw him when I went to City Hall to get my like driver certification from him.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
we
it's
were
weird.
just talking about like
Yeah, what we would do if we ran into.
I literally like saw him going into a door and he like waved and said hi, and I like didn't register that it was him until I saw the door close and it was like mayor's office, and I was like, oh fuck.
That's so weird.
Keeps like half unplugging.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kind of had to like hit it in at an angle. Weird.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Monuments to Jim Crow.
All right, turn it down. Turn it down.
Public housing in the city. Public housing. It's time that we walk the
Okay,
walk,
that's
we talk the
probably
talk,
good.
we
That's
walk the
fine.
walk, and build new units for every
gotta put
individual
it
who
on.
lives in public housing today. That's what we have to work towards. And we have to work towards home ownership.
He's
You
in the
want to
chair.
actually bring
The
equity to
gaps.
black and brown people, they have to have the ability to have generational wealth. And when you see a 30%
Is this the
decline
chair?
in the city,
Yeah, these are the
in black home ownership, that's a problem for black people. You know, there's a lot of folks out there who say Black Lives Matter. They put a yard sign in their yards. They put a sign in their window. But we are going to have to talk the talk and walk the walk over the next 2 years. Or if we don't do that,
Right, talk
then
about what that means now.
the
You're the
inequalities
guy
that we
that's
see today,
about
the
walking the walk.
inequities
What
that
does
we
that
see
mean?
today
You're just
will
posturing.
continue. And that's what the work we have to do over the course
What's
of the
the
next
work?
4 years. And I will do so as the mayor.
What work?
What's next time?
He's gonna walk.
He's gonna
He's
walk.
gonna walk and
Next
talk.
up, we have Councilperson Gray.
It's that simple. You just walk and you
Thank
talk.
you.
That's how you do it.
Again, I
He's
think,
halfway there, he's
and
talking.
what got me involved
Gray
in
really
my
probably is the
elected
best
life
chance
is
of winning.
education. I
That's
think
so
it's
great.
the
It's
child's
not broken.
passport
Yeah.
to a better life. We owe it to every single child in Richmond to make sure they have it in hand so that they can go and do and be everything they want to be. It's important to note that we are failing many of our children right now just by not giving them the basic technology that they need to access their educations, their respective education. We've known since March that we were in a virtual learning situation, and there's many children in our city who still haven't had access to their schools and teachers. I think in addition to our education policy, which we do have 3 new schools that were on the backs of a restaurant industry that is now unprotected, and many of them are boarded up, and some of them were burned. We were promised 5 new schools, we now have 3. So there's, again, failed leadership, wasteful spending, and lack of accountability. I think that it's important that we support our local small and minority businesses, and we put processes and people in place that get it and understand and support those local small businesses and help them flourish in our city. We need housing policies that not only promote home ownership but help home owners retain their homes. We also need community-based policing and reforms. We've gotten away from our community policing model, and I think that's what's led to a lot of the frustration that is being displayed in our city. I think we have great police that need to be on the ground in the community, respected. I don't see Rodley, he's probably on the road.
I know, and I'm like, what does he do in the back?
Yeah, what
Does he
could
not
he
know how to turn his video off?
I can't see him on the screen right now, but I was like, it must be time.
Oh, is that when it's
it's a time card, I guess.
Alright, we're moving on to the third question. We'll be starting with Ms. McLean. The third question is, many of our streets are in poor condition. They do not have sufficient sidewalks for walking safely. Cars cut through our neighborhoods disregarding traffic signs and crosswalks, speeding and endangering pedestrians. Wiley Road is an excellent example of a road with high pedestrian traffic and no walkways. How will you work to fix the roads, enhance pedestrian safety, and create traffic calming measures in our neighborhoods?
Mr. Clements, could you repeat that again? My computer is going in and out, and I'm
I
sorry.
would be happy to, not a problem. Many of our condition, they do not have sufficient sidewalks for walking safely. Cars cut through our neighborhoods, disregarding traffic signs and crosswalks, speeding and endangering pedestrians. Wiley Road is an example of a road with high pedestrian traffic and no walkways. How will you work to fix the roads, enhance pedestrian safety, and create traffic calming measures in our neighborhoods?
Well, the first thing we definitely need to do is fix those potholes.
Stony.
I actually had my car to be destroyed by one myself.
Dude, before COVID,
but we need to
this
add
whole Twitter, all
roundabouts
their
and
replies
speed
were just,
bumps.
like, fix the potholes.
Really?
Yeah.
We also need to have the community take a part in when they see someone speeding down the road where there is supposed to be in the neighborhoods where they should be going 25 and they went 45 or 65, to actually take a step and to possibly report that to us. It's very important that we all take ownership of our community and work together so that we can make this change. But definitely the speed bumps in the roundabouts will definitely and some change of one-way streets would definitely be a good way to deter for that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr.
Yeah, really like a bad internet connection.
Next,
Just,
same
like,
question to
affect
you,
you
Ms.
so
Rogers.
much.
Yeah.
Happy to repeat it if you'd like me to. I know it's a long one.
I got it, Whit. Thank you.
Okay.
The safety of our streets is so important, and not just for people traveling in vehicles, but also for pedestrians,
Stony, take a
also
drink.
traveling on a bike, scooter, skateboard,
Drink
whatever
up.
it is that you get around here in the city of Richmond. I've spent a lot of time at businesses across the south side, and including one y'all probably know, Brewers Cafe along Hull Street. And unfortunately, along Bainbridge. Unfortunately, we've seen accident after accident right at that intersection because of behavior of the
that.
system.
I feel like I should move that.
That is why I
living in a
propose
tall house.
elevating
I know we have the vitamins up there, and I devoted
hardworking
them.
folks in our city government
Never.
focused on
I can go in
transportation
that
to a department of
Oh, I just
transportation
put it
that
on the
has the
fridge. I was like, I
resources and
can't.
the
It's
support
too high.
of
Yeah.
I can't.
to prioritize equity
Too
in our
small.
streets. Not just again
Why
for
are you tall,
vehicles,
dude?
but working
I wish I could be tall. I
collaboratively
wish I
with
could
our
be part of
community
the
leaders
household. and
to increase
contribute
access
and,
to
like, reach
bikes,
You need
bike
a short
lanes,
person.
safe protected bike lanes
'Cause you
throughout
can
more
climb
parts
in
of the city.
places.
To make sure that
You
we
need
are
that.
taking care of sidewalks that
I'll
for too
happily
long
do
have been
that, yeah.
inaccessible for folks who are trying to get by throughout our
So are you
community.
3 living?
It is again an equity
Yeah.
issue
Okay.
when
This
a
is the
student
setup.
can't walk to
The
school
setup.
safely and may be afraid to go to
That's my
school
room right
because of
That's
the
your.
fact
I
they
thought
have
that was
to
like a door to the
I
outside.
talked to just
The door
like
to
a
the
porch.
outside in my
about a week
room.
ago, talking to
Oh.
a neighbor in the south side, Miss Brown, who 4 years ago had a great conversation with the mayor about fixing a pothole in her alley. That pothole remains. That's why I'm running for mayor. We have to solve these issues seriously. It takes time and resources, and that's why I'm proposing the Department of Transportation to make sure that we're solving these issues in a meaningful and equitable way.
Oh, I didn't listen to like anything she said.
Oh, I like how it's the pothole thing at the end.
I know I did kind of like tune out about like
Better-
the road.
more
Thank you, Wade.
lanes,
You know, Wade,
more
I am
lanes,
proud
better
of our work
sidewalks.
as an
Okay,
administration
okay.
in tackling our roads.
Sounds
We
all
heard the
good
top
to
two
me.
issues in the city
I remember.
was public education and our deteriorating roads after years and years of deferred maintenance. You know, when I first became, when I at the beginning of my
That's
tenure
what I
as
was
mayor,
thinking.
we
I
were
was like-
only investing $3
I know.
I was
million
trying to figure out like what order.
in roads and paving.
I'm just
Now
like, I don't know if
we're
I want
up
to
to nearly
commit to a
$30
Mountain
million
Dew drink before I
in
like
roads.
give the
We
little
have paid
test.
over
You're not
500 lane
I
miles
have, but I
of
just
roads.
don't feel like
Roads
I've had it
like
in like
Chillingham Parkway,
so
West
long.
Beverly Hills Boulevard, Cherokee
either.
Road. They have
Just
seen
bought my
paving
glasses.
because of this administration.
What's the,
I like
so
the
what's
fact
the
that we
official?
also installed 350 ADA ramps as well. So we
the
can ensure that
review?
every individual
The review
has
is-
access to
It's
the Mountain
Ian's
Dew.
right.
built over
It's like Sprite, but it's not refreshing.
I'm gonna use
That's a great description of
Just
the
whatever.
mountain.
It's like draining kind of.
Yeah, it like makes you feel worse.
For sure.
Whenever Sony talks, we just take it as our time.
and filling our potholes in here.
Actually, we're gonna talk about our own issues right now.
We've filled
Yeah.
over 80,000 potholes since I began my time as mayor, but that is not anything to brag about.
80,000
I have
potholes.
brag about
That's
the
how many
fact that
cars
we
have
over
you gone
500 lane miles
Or
of
is
road.
that like
That's what we need to do.
bicycle
We want to take a bite out of the fact that beginning of my tenure, we had 65% of our roads were considered poor, very poor to fair, and better that number, which we are already doing. We can get to every one of our roads with the investment from the Central Virginia Transportation Authority over the next 5 years. We continue to invest $30 million a year. This didn't happen overnight. This was deferred maintenance. And this administration is the administration that has made it a
Just
priority.
because someone else comes in doesn't mean they w't stop that
That must make
$30
sense.
million a year road contract.
No, it's true.
Next
Like,
we're going
you
to
control that.
Councilperson Barry.
Yeah.
Let me repeat the question.
No, I think I have the idea of what the question is, and there was a question around Bliley Road. There was a study done that said that sidewalks needed to be placed and that the road should be widened. I know my colleague on City Council who represents this area made the request. What we find in our service on City Council is when we didn't support the real estate tax increase that LeVar Stoney proposed, when we didn't support the meals tax increase, we were cut out of the budget. And when I say we, I mean the people of our districts. And it's important to understand that when promises are made and investments, they need to be done in an equitable manner. And it shouldn't be done using the lens of political favoritism. Everyone in the city pays taxes and contributes, and we should all be receiving services in an
I also
equitable
just feel
manner.
like he's acting with his faces.
the-
He'll be like,
Yeah.
Experience I have working in the Virginia Department of Transportation.
That guy.
I'm
is just
aware of many
emotionless.
programs that are
He's just
available,
a card
safe
man.
routes to
Yeah,
schools,
that's his-
to make
that's
it
his job.
possible for
oh, you're talking
children
about
to
Bobby?
be able
I
to
thought you
walk
were
to
about the
schools.
lawyer.
I've
No,
worked
it's about Bobby.
with
Who's the lawyer?
Bob
That's you?
Arterbright in
Yeah.
the Belmead area
Has
to
he
get
talked at all?
a walking route and a
Oh,
bridge
he had an
so that
instruction.
children who are 30
Yeah,
miles
that's
away
about it.
He is
from
Why
high
is he
school
there?
can safely
He's
walk
running,
there.
right?
I think that
They're all near
accessing those
He's Griffin?
resources
Yeah.
Except
and
for the
grants
two.
Have you seen the
and
sign?
putting together a plan
Her neighbors are.
that is not
Yeah.
based on political favoritism, but equality and equity is
He's
how
the
we
only
get
white
there.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the white one.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the other two weren't running.
All right, so we all know that Richmond's got the worst roads any of us have ever driven on. I find it pretty rich that the mayor says that he made paving roads a priority because I'm a numbers guy. I'm a small business attorney, so I'm dealing with financial documents all the
I feel like
time.
anybody can
You know,
say
so
that.
I-
To like try to get some.
So when I look at the city budget and how much it's grown over the last 4 years as our
This
taxes
numbers guy's
have
a
gone up with
lawyer.
increased assessment,
Yeah.
Not as a
We have
politician
spent
like the rest
a
of them.
combined $141
Isn't the other
million
girl who's just like, you
even
know,
the
whose head's
budget
cut
that's
off?
passed this
Tracy?
year after it was
Yeah,
adjusted down
is she
because
not a
of
politician
COVID,
either?
it's still
I don't think
almost
so.
$80 million more than it was 4 years
So
ago.
if it's like 50.
And when you look at the
50,
information,
Yeah.
you see that the Department of
Is
Public
Alexis-
Works said that it
I
needed
don't know.
$100 million
I don't
to
know.
fix every 4 and fair rated
She didn't
street
like
in
announce
Richmond.
it in the same way.
Well, I
either.
guess that didn't
Yeah.
happen, did it? Right? Where'd that money go? Because our schools aren't any better, our city services aren't any better, and the roads aren't any better.
See,
And it
he's
took
doing it.
until
He goes,
an election
what,
year for
what?
us to finally
Oh,
start
that's
paving.
Too much.
And we used $15 million worth of debt, and that $30
He looks so
million
confused. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But he also looks like he's like smoldering. Wait, now he's smiling.
That's like a smile of rage and confusion.
Is through debt and increased taxes. And so, for me, my approach to working
I
with the
can't
city
imagine
This is
talking
hilarious.
about him.
I know,
Looking at his
literally.
face
all
like
of
that.
the waste
He's just like
we
smearing
have
the
in our
fuck
city.
out of him.
It's because
Stop
he's
asking the
looking.
people
He's
for more
definitely looking
money
at his
while
own
the city
face
government
right this whole
just
time.
keeps
The way
wasting
he's
it and
doing
it's
Zoom. He's
looking
like,
like
that's
nowhere.
so true.
We have to live
You know?
with, like I said, the worst roads any of us have ever driven on. When you look at sidewalks,
See,
is part
like,
of the question too.
Alexis
Southside.
is looking at him.
We've
You can
been
see her
proud
like
of
looking
sidewalks
at
for
that
what,
top
50
right.
years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's never happened because during election season,
Honestly, I look
We
at
have-
myself
we
for
have
like
people that
60
talk to
or
people.
like
Oh my god,
80%
I
of
look
it.
at myself
Yeah.
the whole Zoom. I'm like,
Yeah.
but then it never actually
And then, like,
happens. And so
sometimes
you have
I'll
to
look at
elect
other
somebody
people,
different, somebody that's
Or
actually
I'll like look at the camera and be like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
and then it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
take somebody.
I
Or I
never
look at
just
Zach,
to
I'm like-
know that you've got to pay for it. Mayor Stone's
And Zach
talking
goes,
about, I don't
"Wait
want
a
to brag
minute."
about potholes.
Or half the time I'm just like
to,
on Chrome
Uh,
computer or
right.
something.
Oh yeah.
Like in Photoshop, not even looking at anybody.
I always forget. Like I'm like, I'm being streamed.
I don't think there's any like.
No,
Moving on
there's
to the
nobody.
fourth question, we'll be starting with Ms. Rogers. The fourth question
Remember
is,
last stream? I was like, Hannah's
Two
surprise birthday
how do you
party,
balance the
and
needs
you're
of
like,
community
so we
versus
are
tight
live.
budget constraints?
Yeah.
Specifically, what programs would you
sounds
be in
like
favor of cutting, and what programs
Just
would
you
you?
can't hear either.
be in
You
favor
can
of
almost
increasing funding?
understand like both things, but you can't
That's an
understand
important
either
question.
thing.
My entire career has been in community
The
organizing
shittiest
and
audio
policy
of
making.
any live stream.
I spent a couple years
Just
in
gotta
the
be-
Lieutenant Governor's office fighting
Could
for
we just watch it on the
policies that
laptop?
would advance reproductive health care access,
And, like,
behavioral health care, early
Play it
childhood
through the
access.
laptop speakers
My
and
time
also
working at
record
Planned
the like
Parenthood,
then it
and
would
today
be
the National Domestic
work.
Workers Alliance.
If
It's
we
all about
instead of
going
audio
out
out
to
to
the
the TV,
listening
we
to the
just did audio
concerns,
to the
and trying to build consensus
Sure.
about what
I don't know
should be a
another-
priority.
Viewers.
That's what I've been doing.
That's
as part
true.
of
It
my-
doesn't. We could also
Matter.
stop.
It's just like
What
a
is
fun
our
little
concern?
gig
And that's the kind
Yeah.
of
for
approach
us
that
to
we'll
like
take to
think
any
about.
budget.
Yeah,
Like,
we're live streaming.
So my policies and my
I just wanna be a
priorities when it
streamer,
comes to
guys.
yeah,
taxes
no,
and
and
what
I really
goes,
support that dream.
would always be centering the experiences of working
It's just
class
like, if
people.
we're gonna
And we heard it from every
might as well
candidate
be able
tonight.
to
People
hear
are
it.
hurting. in
I
this
don't
Might
country.
as well
There
do
is
it,
real
you know.
pain.
Like, I don't know how
whether it's
the-
the healthcare crisis
Like,
or
the only way that we're
economic
even
crisis. And so
capturing this
we
audio
can't
is through the
afford
speakers.
any
'Cause,
kind of
like,
budget
it's
cuts
just
that
the
would
mic is just picking
further
up the
impact,
speakers on.
negatively
Uh-huh.
impact
Really?
working
Yeah,
class
'cause,
people,
like,
our seniors
this is
who
just
are
capturing the video
trying to get by.
Okay.
What we have seen, I
and
think,
sending it.
So you need
is
something with,
a police
but sends it
department
like
that
direct the
has
audio directly
been
to.
over militarized and over
But the thing,
Yeah.
and not
because
necessarily being
wasn't
held
there how
accountable
where was
to
it where you
serving
switched the
the community's interests.
audio to be
well.
sent to
So
the
I'm going to be,
HDMI to
I was
Samsung?
supportive, and I'm
That just
disappointed
didn't
that
work. Like, it
some of
didn't
my
do
opponents,
anything.
at
But
least
it
one of my
sent
opponents
the-
voted against an
Oh
effort
no,
to
because it's going
not
out of
defund
the
the
speaker
police.
thing.
But just take a look
Yeah.
at what areas and services could be better
What if we
handled by
plug
other community partners.
it
Whether
like
that
an
be mental
Oxford
health, or excuse me,
into
whether
an
that be
Oxford?
community
That might-
building
And then
and outreach
where's the other end of the
services that currently are led by RPD.
In
that
the,
would-
in the red, it goes
and
red
other
the
community
laptop.
partners. We know that
Yeah,
because of the historic injustice
take that audio and
We
we
have
put
to
it
do better
in the
at building
stream,
trust, and I
so
think
then
it
it's
starts
just we can
with making
mix
sure
it
there's
with.
Dude, I don't
partners
know.
at the table.
I don't know if
Red
that'll
card.
give us
Very
any
much
more
so.
Bobby
control.
said stop.
It's coming.
Hey, you know, a budget document, the
It'll
public
get louder
budget
now.
is
Yeah.
a document of priorities. And over the course of the last 4 years, you've seen this administration be able to fund its priorities. Our number one priority being public education. $30 million in new monies in Richmond Public Schools
New money.
since I became there, living up to a promise I made to this community.
Yeah, we got
What
this.
the fuck?
Yeah, this is really kind
What
of
is
fun.
that?
Oh, is this
This is barely like holding together.
This is the streaming software.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it like that?
It's like looping because it's the stream is just capturing the like screens, like what the screen is showing, so then it's showing a preview of what the screen is showing, and it's just like looping it forever.
Going up roughly 4%. That shows you where
That's
our
crazy.
priorities
Yeah,
are.
right.
And moving forward, if we want to provide economic mobility and bring equity to all
Yeah, I
our
don't know
people
what
in
we
the
can
Richmond
do really,
region,
Ryan.
we have to focus on what I believe are the tenets: better education, better housing, better access to jobs, and also I don't forget we put more money behind public transportation as well. These to me are the tenets of the ways that our
I feel like if we
Black and brown communities are
I don't know.
able to get
I have
the
no
jobs, able to actually climb the
maybe if
ladder
we just did it through
of success
laptop,
and
but then we
opportunity. Now,
I don't
the
even
city
I rather
has
would
the
just
goal.
watch it through the TV.
Yeah, I'm like,
just
I'd
stop.
rather
Yeah.
us be entertained.
Yeah, like we could
Excuse me, thank you
figure it
so
out,
much, Mayor
but I'd
Snyder.
rather just watch the
Okay.
Oh,
So, let me start by saying I've spent, my tenure on the school board as a liaison to the audit committee, and since I've been on city council, I've served as the, council representative, on the audit committee. I would start by ending the fraud, waste, and abuse that we know exists within,
not
our
the right
city
place.
budget. I'll give you one quick example. When I was seeking to repair a section of sidewalk in Scott's Addition, a well-traveled section where several
maybe
people
give
have
them
been
some
injured.
pigtails?
I had a pregnant woman face plant. I asked our Public Works Department for an estimate on the cost of that sidewalk section. What I got back was $48,000 for that section. Out of
See, I bet you
frustration
would get
with
carded
the
too.
length of time it takes to even get anything done,
Let's go to
the
ABC
property
service
owner,
center.
Last
who
time I had the same guy. and he
is
was
adjacent to the
carding me.
sidewalk, said he was
Damn.
gonna go ahead and get it
What?
done. He used
I
the
went to the
city
ABC store
contractor
and he was like,
and got that
"You got
same
credit,
exact
but
section
I
of sidewalk
didn't."
done for
But I was
$6,000.
like, it's because
Same spec,
my hair
same length,
it's in a
same
juvenile style.
everything. We are spending more than we need to on city services. Again, we spent 30 to 40% more on the same exact prototype schools that were built. That's why we got 3 instead of 5. We have to do more with less. And when we talk about the historic investments in our schools, we need to look at the results. And when children are worse off after you've sent more money over to the school district, that's a serious problem. We've got to have accountability measures attached to the dollars we're spending. Thank you.
No, it'll just be like
Thank you very much, Councilperson Gray.
Hickory
Mr.
tree
Griffin.
liquor, and then
Can you repeat the question for me?
More than happy to.
Thank you.
Two-part. How would you balance the needs of the community versus tight budget
yeah,
constraints?
like yeah.
Specifically,
it's
what
not
programs
like-
would you be in favor of cutting, and what programs would you be in favor of increasing funding?
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay, so the city of Richmond doesn't have
But then
a
like we
revenue
would literally
problem.
like
The city of Richmond has a priorities and mismanagement problem. When you look at our city budget, like I said, it's grown exponentially over the last 4 years. And what's better? Absolutely nothing. Every metric we look at in the city is worse. And if you follow me on social media, I'm actually posting an example a day of, I call it examples of how we deserve better, but really what they are examples of mismanagement and waste within our city budget. For example, the city doesn't properly issue 1099s to contractors, or anything that will pay $100,000 of fines to the IRS. There's $100,000 gone, not spent on our priorities of our schools and our neighborhoods. And if you look at the Department of Public Utilities, spends $840,000 on average. We're paying invoices twice. They're skirting procurement rules.
You're mean.
proper internal controls in place. There's, you know, example after example after example. They weren't billing for elevator inspections for 3 years, costing us $1 million. So there are so many examples of waste in the city that we can utilize to get our budget on track so we can invest in things like schools, neighborhoods, and actually not having to cut different programs from our budget.
Yeah. I don't know. We didn't even like pay attention to him. We're just
Is that a
like,
microwave?
shut up.
Yeah, that's true. We're just like, you're a lawyer.
I mean, I haven't loved his tone. Anyway.
Okay, well,
But I do love her tone.
Yeah, she's
I
great.
feel like I'm like
I
sitting in
basically
the middle of her.
would actually just reallocate the funds to programs more so community
Also, she has the best lighting. You know? You put,
policing,
like, the camera setup is, like, a little
and
odd.
to make sure that when we economize the police and that
I know,
and we
like,
rebuild
just tilt it a little towards you.
rebuild the police, we would make sure that we include the new programs as far as the second responders,
Head above water.
the mental counselors, the substance counselors. That would be one of the things that we need to have in place.
Wow, literally Justin Griffin's bio, the
I would
first
definitely do
sentence,
that
not a politician.
as soon as possible. Also, sending educating so that we would
Yeah.
not have the same thing that's going on now with the landlord and tenant situation. I would like to educate
Compare, but yeah.
That's true.
our Richmonders on and also having what we call setup as
Isn't it just like sitting there? Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So then what's exactly his anti?
He just wants to.
Looks like Miss McLean is cut out here, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make sure that she was the last speaker on this one. So give her a few seconds to see if she can come back in. If not, then we'll go ahead and we'll start with the next question. But as soon as she comes back in, we'll give her a chance to finish her. Okay.
It's never a good investment.
What about the Rome Coliseum?
Yeah. What about the Rome Coliseum?
We're gonna tear it down.
Tear down the Coliseum.
That's it. You just gotta build the most epic stadium.
Yeah.
It has to literally.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're waiting for Ms. McLean to get back in. We will go ahead and move on to question 5, or the 5th question, and then we're going to start with Mayor Stoney. So the first question is, how specifically would you address gun violence, violent crime, and murder in the city of Richmond?
Yeah, gun violence unfortunately has plagued our city for many, many decades. I've gone to too many funerals, bottom line. I've gone to too many funerals. I was at a vigil just the other day with a family of someone who lost himself, or lost a child to gun violence. You know, I'm proud of the work we did working with the city council and the General Assembly in banning guns in public parks and in public buildings, and also recently prohibiting guns at mass events that were permitted or whatnot. I'm particularly mad at the first piece of legislation because we lost Marquia Dixon in Carter Jones Park right there in Southside. And I knew we had to do something. No child who is out playing and enjoying themselves, just being a kid, should lose their life. Now, we are going to obviously redouble our efforts and provide more police presence in a lot of these areas. Even last night, we were able to arrest more than a few individuals who are carrying illegal weapons. You know, I am a part of the Mayors Against Illegal Weapons, Legal Guns. I'm proud of that badge. I know I'm not a fan of the NRA and the Virginia Defense League. They're not fans of mine because I think that we need stricter gun laws, not only in the city, but also in this state as well. There's no need for any person to have access to automatic weapons in this state. There's no reason why someone needs more than 12 guns a year as well. And so for me, obviously we're going to work on our police presence in a lot of areas where we witness this gun violence, but also we know that it's a holistic approach. It takes everyone. It takes our hospitals. It takes everyone in the human services portfolio, social workers, those who are out there preventing youth prevention of violence as well. Those are the individuals as a team. You need to put every persons all around each one of our children, our young adults, to ensure that we can prevent them from ever being engaged in gun violence and tell them other ways to solve these conflicts. It is, like I said earlier, it has plagued our cities for years, and we cannot go backwards.
Thank you, Mayor Stoney. It looks like we have Ms. McLean back with us. Would you like some extra time to finish your answer to the previous question?
That's fine. You can continue this question.
Okay. We will continue on. Thank you. Councilperson Gray, you will be the next one to respond.
Well, first and foremost, can you repeat the question for me?
I am certainly happy to do that. How specifically would you address gun violence, violent crime, and murder in the city of Richmond?
Yeah, I went to tiny rural.
So, there are two separate issues going on that are most pressing right now. We've had 113 days of civil unrest, but it's surprising to me that we have a mayor who has ordered the police not to react when we have guns outside of schools and childcare, automatic weapons, illegal guns, and the amount of sheer negligence on the part of the mayor and not allowing the police to do their jobs when it comes to enforcing the laws that we have on the books. We can create hundreds of more gun laws. If the police are not being allowed to enforce laws, it means nothing. Within our communities that are impacted in our public housing, we've had an ongoing battle, most recently between Wickham and Gilpin. I think that is going to take a lot of community work and trust building and work with returning citizens and our older men in those communities who can address the younger guys who are creating and causing a lot of the violence, and some young ladies within those communities. It's not going to be addressed from the outside in. We've got to use and leverage the community assets that we have and the older, more wiser gentlemen in those communities who can directly confront the violence that we're seeing.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, so the first thing that we have to do to address the spike in crime and shootings in our city is not defund the police or reimagine or reallocate funds, I guess, is kind of how we change the term that we're looking at here. Because what we're actually seeing and why the shootings are spiking is because we're seeing a preview of what will happen if we defund the police. Right now, the police are very distracted, having to patrol Monument Avenue and look at always be on alert for a potential riot or violence or vandalism. So they're having to pull officers off patrol from their normal patrols all over the city, and they're having to focus on that. So what's happening, the violence, the gangs are filling in the gap. There's power struggle going on, and they're filling in the gaps. And so that's the first thing we have to do. We have to get back to normal. We have to get our city back to working again, so that our police can get back on their normal patrols and keeping our neighborhoods safe. The second thing that we've got to do is that we have to actually have a leader who isn't all talk and doesn't just say we care about our communities and our public housing communities and our Black communities only when it's election time and only when it's convenient, because we need somebody who's actually going to be there in the communities, interacting with people, asking questions. It's not just a photo op. And we've got to fix our schools so that we actually have hope and opportunities for the people in our city, so that they don't turn to crime. Those are the things that we have to do, and it's got to be a holistic approach to do that, to get our city and make it safe for all of our neighborhoods.
Yeah, is he writing?
I feel like the way his arm is
Ms. McLean.
like he's writing.
Doesn't this angle make it look like his body is like so tiny?
Yeah, when he's looking down. Yeah.
Mega mind. But like, is he writing on his leg or is
Like all that mayoral skill in his head. That's just extended.
I'm so sorry that my computer is really lagging behind everyone.
I know.
She's so personable.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Well, the first thing about what we need to do is actually build within a community. This is nothing new. This has been going on for years. It's gotten worse, but it started when we took some of the families out of the neighborhoods, some of the fathers out of the neighborhoods, some of the, as they call them, the older men out of the neighborhoods to actually raise the children, and the mothers having to go to work and not being able to watch them. So what we need to do is actually go into our community and work with our community to help them help themselves and help our community together. This is not a thing that a mayor can just do alone. It's very important when you're a mayor that you speak for the people, that you're with the people and you stand with the people. If you don't do that, this is what results. This is our results. The murders are horrific, and mothers losing children, fathers losing children. It's time to stop. But we had a good police chief working our city at one time where the numbers went down. So all of these are pieces to the puzzle. We have to have a good policing community, and we have to work with the community. Those are the two things that would stop or lower the gun violence.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers.
Absolutely. Again, I grew up in the Richmond area, and I certainly remember when Richmond was the murder capital, right? And we still see too much violence and crime in our communities. The way to address that is to make sure that we're partnering with community organizations and faith leaders who for a long time have partnered together to bring healing to our communities, to bring real leadership to our communities, to mentor and develop young people throughout our communities. Pastor Hodge, Red Hodge, that we met with Mayor Stone not too long ago to propose some ideas for how we reduce violence in our communities. It's important for the mayor to be listening to important stakeholders, whether they be faith leaders, social workers, etc., to address not only the crime that we see as happening, but to create prevention efforts to reduce crime in our communities. You know, I appreciate Mr. Griffin sharing that, you know, we need more police officers to help solve crimes. What I would counter is that we actually are calling on police officers to do too much. Because not too long ago, I was marching along with Senator McClellan and many others in a peaceful pride march. And we were met with 30 officers in riot gear. And you're right, they were distracted. They were distracted from some other crime or some other initiative that they could have been fighting to solve. And instead, hundreds of peaceful folks there to march in solidarity with the LGBTQ community were met with police officers that were intimidating, that caused further tensions with the community, and that frankly were just unnecessary. I don't think that we need to be demonizing police officers or, you know, saying that every police officer is bad. But what we need to do is stop calling on them to do so much when we do have real issues of crime that we need to have their attention on. That's why I have always prioritized focusing on reducing the scale and scope of policing, so that we're putting police officers in situations that they're prepared to take care of, and that we're keeping communities safe instead of over-policing Black and brown communities.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. Okay, we're moving on to a new question, and we'll be starting off with Councilperson Gray on this one.
Maybe I should do
Question
some
is,
thanking for her.
over the past several years, the city has seen an increase in development projects. On the south side, this is happening in previously undeveloped lots of trees and green space. What are your plans to address the deforestation of the south side and the city as a whole, given the negative impacts that the loss of green space and trees has been demonstrated that already have had in the city?
So, as a council person who represents Scott's Addition, where lots of developments are happening, I can tell you what I've done to, what I've learned about Scott's Addition is that it's the hottest neighborhood in the city. And when I say hot, yeah, I think it's hot because it's growing and it's cool, but it's the hottest by temperature because there aren't as many trees and as much green space as other areas of the city. On any given day, it can be up to 14 degrees hotter than the cooler spots in the city. So in Scott's Addition, what we've done is we've worked with developers to encourage them and to incentivize them, especially when they're coming and asking for special use permits and other things, to build green, to accommodate the neighborhood with additional green space, to put green walls on their construction and white roofs. And I think that as mayor, I can work at building more into the incentives for developers to make sure that we are creating outdoor spaces and planting trees with every development and incentivizing that in a way that it works for the community and for the respective developer.
There was like one school in like Rwanda.
Did y'all have that like library?
So,
I don't remember how it works,
as
but, like, you
I
got
talk to my
students
neighbors
doing something
here
at the
on the
library,
south side, and I
like,
talk to other people in other parts south of the
I don't know if it
river,
was, like, reading or if it
it's
was,
pretty
like,
apparent that south side is ignored by leadership. It's ignored by the mayors. It's ignored by city councils. It doesn't see the same investment or attention that we see north of the river. For example, even when we're going back to schools, when the whole rezoning drama happened, it was originally supposed to be to address the overcrowding in the south side. But instead, we ended up talking a lot about the west end. And so when we're talking about actually providing green space or anything on the south side, whether it's fixing the storm drainage or it's paving the roads or actually getting some sidewalks down here, it's, you gotta have a mayor that's actually gonna make it a priority to serve all of our neighborhoods and not just to talk about it when election season comes and you realize, oh no, I need these people's votes to get elected. And you know, we saw Mayor Stoney conveniently talk about parks and green space all of a sudden the day before this South Side forum. I guess that's what, you know, tens of thousands of dollars in consultants will get you. You got good timing, I guess. But we need somebody who's actually going to do the things that they say and actually cares about the people in Southside, and we will address that. And the first thing that we're going to have to do is actually get our budget fixed. We got to cut out all the waste, because how are we going to, you know, cash all these checks that Mayor Stoney's, you know, writing right now for memorial parks and green space and parks and this and that and all the other things. If, you know, last year we were talking about we needed to increase taxes because we were out of money, right? And so it's a big change in what we're talking about. So what we need to do is get our budget straight and we can actually talk about the priorities of investing into our neighborhoods.
Thanks, Griffin. Ms. McLean.
All of our pizza shops are.
Can you repeat the question for me?
Happy to. Over the past several years, the city has seen an increase in development projects. On the south side, this is happening in previously undeveloped lots of trees and green space. What are your plans to address the deforestation of the south side and city as a whole, given the negative impacts that the loss of green space and trees has been demonstrated to have already had in the city?
That shit's crazy.
It was this guy.
Well, I actually live in the 4th district, and our district is simply
The local pizza shop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much.
beautiful with the trees and the birds and the squirrels, the foxes, and the bears. And with that being said, it's very important for them to have a place to go. Lately, I've been visited personally by a falcon and an eagle. And it might sound unbelievable, but for some reason, they have nowhere to go. And so if we cut out the trees and we just keep building and we forget about the things of nature, not only will it mess up the chain of life, right, and this is just true education, but the chain of life, and knowing that when we have more trees in our areas, we actually live a longer life. We must not continue to build. So I would make sure that it's definitely an ordinance that we can, you know, we have to make sure that we keep the trees in our south side, and we cannot destroy the beauty that we have here. Unfortunately, around the rest of Richmond, it hasn't been done, and it's very important that we implement trees and green space in the rest of the city also. So we can show them. I mean, and if you don't understand, if you're not from the South Side, and those who are watching, you're from South Side, y'all know that we have a beautiful green space. And so that's what it should be in the whole city. It's a community job, and we as a community and mayor should work together and make this happen.
Ms. Rogers.
Thank you very much. I'm really proud of my plan for environmental justice for the city. It's the first detailed policy platform that I put out that I hope everyone will go visit at alexisrogers.com. My plan involves reinstating the Urban Forestry Commission, which has been out of commission for about 30 years. And we've not had a real commitment to a long-term vision for our forest management. So for me, we've got to start by having a team of folks that are tasked with tree stewardship, maintenance, and long-term planning for increasing that citywide tree canopy to 60%. I'm really proud that Richmonders have voiced their concerns about this issue as a part of the Richmond 300 plan. We have to put in the resources and the effort to actually stand this up so that it's not just talking. And this is important because green space actually has an impact on our well-being and our quality of life. It means having lower rates of heat strokes. It means having greater access to outdoor space where you can get healthy exercise. We have seen just how important that is during this pandemic, to be able to safely get outside and exercise with your family, your partner, your loved ones. So that's why I'm really proud to have earned the support of Sierra Club, because of my commitment to not only sustainable development within our community, but protecting our green spaces and protecting park spaces that are our greatest asset within Richmond and a great driver of tourism here in the city. I'm not going to forget that when I'm mayor. That's why I put it first in my policy, and I would look forward to making Richmond a leader on clean energy, renewable energy, and environmental justice.
Very much, Ms. Rogers. Mayor Stoney.
Thank you, Whit. Before I answer the question, Whit, I need to inform the public. First, that Kim Gray just lied to you. Kim Gray just lied to the public. This administration, this mayor, has never ever told the Richmond Police Department not to do their job. That is an absolute lie. And also, I gotta say to Mr. Griftwell, he's been being quite disingenuous to people. To say that I don't care about the people, those who live in RRH communities, that's a hurtful comment, and it's flat out false. Now, to answer your question about green space and trees in Southside, I will tell you, like yesterday I did announce we're going to open 5 new parks and green spaces in South Richmond. Yesterday I was in the Windsor-Belle-Meade area. We're going to create 36 acres of new park in Southside. You saw the New York Times highlight for what I believe is systemic racism at its highest right there. The fact that many of our communities, particularly in Southside, Black and brown communities, are the ones who are facing the changing climate the most at the moment. Also, I'm proud that my administration also has put 300 acres of parkland under East during my time as mayor. You're right. Green spaces provide for healthier environments, but also add more value to the neighborhoods and the homes in which they live in. And I think each and every child, each and every person who lives in the city deserves a 10-minute walk to a green space. The space I was yesterday in the Belle-Meade, Windsor area, there was a 20-minute walk, And that's because of a lack of attention, a lack of intentionality behind putting green spaces in places where they belong. That means in places in the South Side and places in the East End of Richmond as well.
Is Kim very conservative? No, they're all
Okay. Okay, so we are coming into, it looks like we have time for one more question before we go into closing comments from every candidate. So we'll go through, this will be the last question of the evening, and then we'll move to closing comments. We'll be starting off with Mr. Griffin.
That's some gray hair.
The question is, visitation to Richmond parks and green spaces has increased since the onset of COVID, but access to them is inequitable. Richmond's James River Park system in particular is on track to surpass last year's record of nearly 2 million visitors. The James River Park Systems Master Plan, a plan to expand access to the James River and public spaces along its banks, was adopted by City Council earlier this year. How will you and your administration approach funding and implementation of the James River Park Systems Master Plan and creation of new parks and green spaces in communities that currently have
I gotta raise my
ordinance?
All right, so the ability to expand our park system, to expand the James River Park system, to be able to handle drawing in more people, which I think should be a priority as a city. We should take advantage of the James River, which is the only river with Class 4 rapids in an urban area in the country. Why that's not promoted, why that's not used for more tourism dollars, I've never really understood. But to do that, yes, we will have to invest in the ability to access that and really, park access all of the city. The ability to do that comes down to, again, having somebody that understands finance and priority-based budgeting. For decades now, we have back maintenance on our school buildings, we have back maintenance on our infrastructure, on our sewage systems. We have a whole myriad of problems that we have to catch up on, that we have to actually prioritize our funding on, so we can get caught up, and then we can finally have conversations about how to improve our city with things like with expanding parks in the park system. And so we need somebody that can go in, root out the waste, actually squeeze every penny out of that to redirect it into actually solving all of the problems that we have. And then we'll have the luxury of expanding our park system and expanding access to green space.
Oh, 13 slash 17. Yeah.
Mr.
They're
Griffin.
13 to they're paying
Ms.
me
McCracken.
cents. They're paying me 15, but they have a $2 hazard pay too. So.
Well, as I stated before, because of COVID, any mayor that gets in office will have to deal with the first 3 years of trying to make things work, and get people back to work, make the school system get back to where kids can even attend school. Unfortunately, that means for the James River that it will have to take a slight seat to the back. It's very important that we make sure that we help our community first. And so that will be my answer for the question, because we will not be able to do it. It'll be at the end of the term to actually being tried to make sure that James River become viable and workable for our city. Thank you.
Ms. Roberts.
Thanks so much. I'd love to expand on my plan for outdoor space. And I would say it's important now more than ever that we're protecting access to our James River and creating better access to equitable outdoor space across the city, because we all know that's the safest way to gather. We all know that if we're going to have a group of folks, it's better to do it out in a park than at a bar or in your apartment. So we need to make sure that we're protecting our natural assets, of course, always, because we've only got one planet and we've got to make sure it's here for generations. But it's also such an important tool for economic development and tourism in the city. None of our neighbors have the asset of the James River for as many miles as we do. None of and I would say, having grown up in the Richmond area, growing up in Hanover County, I came down to the James River in the city. I went to the restaurants down here, and then I would go back home to Hanover County. So many of our neighbors surrounding the city travel down to Richmond to enjoy our parks. So it's so important that we continue to protect that natural asset that drives so much of our economy. I would continue to protect that as mayor, and I would work really hard, as I've detailed in my environmental justice plan, to make sure that every family, every Richmond, every child has access to a safe outdoor space, whether you're on the south side, farther down at Davy Gardens, or anywhere in the city. You deserve to have access to a safe place to play, to grow, to enjoy Richmond with your family and friends.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts.
Yes, Whit, you're right. The James River is a magnet for a number of people, not just for city residents here in the city, but also for a number of people in our region. Henrico, Chesterfield, Bouchon, you name it, Hanover, they all come to Richmond to love on the great James River, our actual Central Park. With so much attention and it being such a magnet, we got to continue to work on access. And so I supported the James River Master Plan. We now, moving forward as an administration, we have to work towards funding the James River Master Plan. It won't all happen overnight, but we got to put that in the budget and make sure it's a priority as well. But also, as more and more people continue, or roughly 2 million people will likely visit the park this year, we need to ensure that we create access for people. And right now, the parking lots are sometimes overflowing. That ends up in the neighborhoods that border the river. Pony Pasture is a great example as well. We need to find ways to get folks to the park without, and also not necessarily expand all the parking lots there, but be able to provide shuttles as well. And lastly, I'd be remiss if I did not recognize the great work of Nathan Burrell, who now is with the Commonwealth of Virginia, with the state, who was one of the masterminds with a number of other community partners in the creation of this master plan, but also the great work of Chris Ferrell, a hire of this administration, who's made not only programming, but park service a high priority.
So, like, since we have our, like, weekly.
Thank you, Mayor Stoney. Councilperson Gray.
Thank you. First, let me say I support the James River Branch Trail that's been planned. It is along the abandoned railroad line from Westover Hills Boulevard to near Belmead Road, where it would pick up the planned Ashland to Petersburg Trail. I have supported green spaces and bike trails, but not just in words, but in action. I fought to get our Scott's Addition Trail in the budget. And was successful in doing so, and have partnered with developers in the area to complete the trail along with the Science Museum. There's also a bit of misinformation around the creation of parks. Of the 20 acres that was proclaimed by our mayor, 18 of that was a collaboration between myself, Kristen Larson, Councilwoman Kristen Larson from the 4th, and Mr. Parker Adulesto, former councilman from the 5th, on the Loris Park issue when land was being given away for a water tower. We were able to work to acquire land to compensate for that loss. In addition to that, I've worked to create green spaces in a creative way. We have a new park at the Triangle along the False Line and on Broad Street, and I will continue to support parks with actions and budgetary appropriations, not just words.
Thank you very much. That takes care of the question section of this forum. So now we're going to be moving into the closing statements. Probably correct me if I misstate anything incorrectly here, but we're going to be doing in reverse order from the opening statements, which means we'll be starting out with Ms. McLean, and every candidate will have 3 minutes. So, Ms. McLean, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Well, I'm Tracy McLean, and I wanted to let you know that I am here to run for mayor because it's time to change the narrative. I stand strong on my faith, and I stand strong with the community. I feel that it's time for us to write our own story and tell a story that we have a cohesive community, a story that changes history, a story where now that we just started to begin to heal from a pandemic, from social unrest, that we work together to make sure that we, the city of Richmond, become a cohesive community. That the government of the city of Richmond is transparent and efficient. That the city of Richmond is a place that you would love to come to live and would love to stay, and not pack up and go. I am a business owner. I am a mother. I am a daughter and a wife. I'm just like you.
How are you always? She's like working this bagel
I'm an ordinary person with an extraordinary vision. I would like to implement the DREAM Initiative, and with you I can. So with that being said, it's time to change the narrative. So lean on it, Gleam.
Waynesboro, which is like the closest town 20 minutes away, and then go to the Target.
Thank you very much, Mr. McLean.
And I would just like, I'd go to the very back of the Target and like get some Pokemon cards and just steal Pokemon cards and open them in my car.
All right, so tonight we have heard a lot of basically what we hear every election cycle. We point out here in Richmond that we've got a failing school system, that our infrastructure is crumbling, that we have inequalities in our city. And the question that the viewers in neighborhood associations have to ask themselves now is, of the people I heard tonight, who will actually do something about it? You know, you can go to my website at rickonformayor.com. You can see my thoughts and detailed plans for what I want to accomplish as mayor. You will find ways where you can ask me questions. The email address on there comes directly to me. I answer the questions, not a staffer. You can even see that there is a way to access a calendar and schedule a time for us to talk one-on-one. I've been talking to people all over the city for months now. You can go to my social media, like I said earlier in the evening, and I've been posting an example a day of waste and mismanagement that we are seeing here in the city. I'll actually be posting today's example after the forum tonight. So the way that Richmond is run is not normal. We don't have to settle for the worst schools in the state, the worst roads any of us have ever driven on, pathetic city services, living in a city where there's a shooting almost every day, a city where we pay more than the surrounding counties taxes to get less in return. That's not normal. And things can get better. But they'll only get better if we stop shuffling the same players around to different chairs. It's time for new leadership that understands finance, leadership that is outside the political establishment, leadership that cannot be bought or bullied, and most of all, leadership that will not make excuses for failure. Now, I'm not a politician. And so what you'll do with me is somebody who comes from the private sector, where if you make promises that you don't keep or you don't perform, you get fired. And that's what we need to do here in the city. We need to fire our leadership. And we need to head in a new direction, a direction with a vision for making Richmond the best Richmond that it can be for the people of Richmond. A Richmond that puts our schools and our neighborhoods first, and a Richmond that is not okay with wasting your tax dollars. Richmond deserves better. You deserve better. Now it's up to you to elect it.
I know, I tried to do that too. I feel like it's not a great answer. But is the ginger beer alcohol? No. You can get alcohol.
Thank you. It is a pivotal time in our city's history. It's important that we have leadership that is for Richmond, not leaders who won't even commit to staying here the full term. At my core, I believe in equality and racial justice. I do not defend symbols or monuments representing hate or bigotry, but what I do defend is a civil process, a dialogue, and it's how this country was founded. We need to listen to each other and form actionable plans to improve the life for everyone and not allow emotions to overtake our intelligence. That's part of why I fought hard to unite our city behind Arthur Ashe Boulevard. I think that it is a unifying symbol for us. This is a really pivotal moment for Richmond. Where will our city go from here? We have so much potential. I love our city. That's right now covered in plywood and caution tape. We need to infuse a positive spirit and to make Richmond the city we can all be proud of, that is serving all of us as citizens. And just to respond a little bit to the assertion that I was not being truthful about the stand-down orders that everyone in the police department that I've spoken to has said they are under We know through our observation and intelligence that the police are not enforcing laws because they are being told not to enforce these laws. People have been held up in my district, in our city, at gunpoint and not gotten a response from the police. We've had gunfire and gun battles breaking out and no response from the police. We are in a crisis right now. It is important to recognize, and we know people by their fruit. You will not be able to go to a thorn bush to find a fig and pick it off. You know people by their fruit. If I tell you that the sky is blue and you look at the sky and it's not blue, then you can call me a liar. But at the point that the laws are not being enforced and our chief executive, LeVar Stoney, is in the position to order those laws to be enforced or to order a stand down, then I must only assume that the police officers and law enforcement officials who are telling me that they are under a stand down order are telling me the truth and not LeVar Stoney.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Great. Ms. Rogers.
She's like either coming to Nelson or
Again, my name is Alexis Rogers. It's been great discussing my plan and vision for the city this evening. I'm a policy leader and a community advocate, and I'm running because Richmond deserves a mayor that's going to fight for them and put them first. We need to make sure that we have a leader that's not going to back down to a tough fight, that's not going to concede to wealthy corporate interests, but that will always be putting the people first, because we need it now more than ever. Take a look around the city, and what we need right now is not more fear tactics, not more efforts to divide us, not more efforts to make some people feel unwelcome or unsafe. We need a leader that's going to inspire hope in our community, that's going to bring us together, that's going to help us lead, and again, always be putting people first. I'm running an important and people-powered campaign, one that has not accepted contributions from corporations, because I know that folks want to be invested in our campaign, and folks want to trust that I'm someone that's going to be accountable to the people. I've been endorsed by great leaders throughout the Commonwealth, including right here in Richmond, Delegate Don Adams, who represents part of the 4th District and parts of this neighborhood associations represented on this call. I'm so excited to bring my leadership, building coalitions, and working on the front lines to advance policies for working people, for vulnerable populations, for Black and brown communities to City Hall. Richmond needs a mayor that will be trusted, that the people can trust will always put their interests first. I'm that candidate. I'd be honored to earn your support. You can learn more about my background and my experience and my plans for the city at alexisrogers.com.
Normalcy that like it wasn't
Ms. Rogers. And for the final closing, Mayor Stoney.
Thank you, Whit, and thank you, Rob Lee, and all those who came together tonight to make this happen, to hear about the future of the great city of Richmond. You know, tonight we heard a number of candidates speak about the problems and the challenges of this city. I come before you tonight as someone who loves this city. Yes, the city of Richmond is not perfect. But over the course of the last 4 years, we have made serious progress. We put more money into Richmond public education than in a generation. We built 3 new schools in Black and brown areas of our city. We expanded after-school programs for each and every elementary school and middle school in the city. We've tripled the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We created an eviction diversion program. We've worked on the issues of equity. But you know what's held this city back? Beyond just the monuments that stood on Monument Avenue, what has held us back is the lack of intentionality to fix our issues. Tonight, you did not hear a vision from any of my opponents. You heard about all the problems and all the challenges. My administration will always be focused on the fix. We're going to tell you what the fix may cost. We're going to be honest and straightforward with the people of the city. I love this city. What I know about the 230,000 people who live in this city, they love this city as well. And they know that there's tough work ahead. We're going to have to heal from the fight over social injustices that we saw this past summer. We're going to have to heal from all and the pandemic. And that is why you need experienced leadership at the helm. Someone who's been tested, someone who's been through it all for the city. I wake up each and every day as an individual who pinches himself because I get to serve the great city of Richmond. And that's why I will continue to serve as the mayor of this great city for 4 more years. I will not seek any public office in that time. My heart and my time will be focused on the city of Richmond and the city of Richmond only. And that's why I ask for your support again on November 3rd.
Stunning.
Oh my god.
So that concludes our Southside Mayoral Forum for 2020. I'd like to thank all of the candidates for taking the time out of their lives to run to make the city a better place. And also for taking the time out of their lives to come and talk to the residents of the South Side and answer some questions that came in to them first. So I appreciate everything you all have done. Good luck in November. And remember, everyone who's watching, please go out and vote. If you can't go out and vote because of COVID, please find the ways to do it through absentee ballots or through early voting. Everybody can vote. Do not get disenfranchised. Please exercise your rights to go out and vote. Thank you all very much. And once I figure out how to save this and put it on the cloud, it'll be out on the Forest Hill Neighborhood Association page for the event, as well as I'll make sure that we distribute it back, the link back out to all of the folks that helped us put this on and spread the word around. So thank you all very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And I was like, in commerce? Like, I'm cool?
Yeah. Oh, they're done.
Yeah, but,
Oh, it's done too.
Why is Kim Gray still there?
What? Oh, hey buddy. Give me that.
but I'm also like, how could one really be cool in commerce unless we cater to like I'm not cool in any of the things they like.
Yeah, I feel that.
He doesn't know his camera's on. He doesn't know his camera. He doesn't know.
Oh, am I on? No.
Dude, you started the Zoom.
Oh, that
Come
was
on, Wit. Oh, damn. Are we still streaming?
Yeah.
Does the mic? Where did
I
the mic
put the
go?
mic right by the speakers so we could just hear them.
Oh,
my god, he's
good
still
call.
on.
That was a genius move.
His camera is still on.
My audio
Oh
engineer.
my god, what is he gonna do
Wait,
now?
I don't know why.
He's like texting someone like how to get
He's like,
out.
how do I get out of the Zoom conference? Oh my god. This is cool. God, I hope he doesn't do something bad.
I hope he poops on the floor.
Is he just showing us? Yeah, what's he gonna say? Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna come in the room at some point.
Can I? What? Fuck.
How did he not know?
Someone had a,
Oh.
I like his image though.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Wait, what's your background?
It's this painting.
Hypnotizing.
And how?
It's like they're. I don't
Read
know.
his messages now. Ian, I know everything.
He's just.
You didn't see shit.
I know
Wait,
what you've been saying about me.
which painting is it? I can't find it. Wait, do you want to see? Is this the right picture? This is bear poop. Isn't it crazy?
Oh yeah,
Oh
that's
my
bear poop right there.
God.
It's like full of like.
Benson National
Yeah.
Park.
I took
didn't
this in
know.
like June. Anyway,
I mean,
What
bears
you
eat some
painted
weird shit.
I don't remember this like whatever painter this was did like a painting of each season and it was like
It's not fall.
it's like a portrait of humans but it's all animals. This might have not actually. There was also like this might be like a bird thing because it looks like it's all birds. I don't remember where I put this.
It's just a bird thing.
Oh wait.
Bird thing.
His name's like wait. Yeah, here we go. Oh, this is Air. He also did like an Elements series. There you go.
I like it. True.
The Earth one is
Oh.
pretty cool too.
Does
Oh,
he
it's a
do the
peacock.
things, the guy who does the stuff with like the vegetables
I
and the fruits?
Oh, it does look like that. It might
It
be the
looks
same
just
guy.
like it, yeah.
I don't know how old this guy is, but he like definitely like before the 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
I
like
mean
his
that
style.
guy was also that period.
Yeah.
Before 1900s.
It probably is the same
I
guy.
feel like it is. The styles is like exact same.
Okay, let's end the stream. Like how dark it is. Goodbye, stream.
Yeah.
We had fucking